Chapter 1652. Brat, who the hell are you? Taitsong Linkong, who was trapped in the formation, looked at Yang Hongwu and said coldly, "You're not from this common people, God domain. What? Are you going to accept your fate? Are you going to beg for mercy?" Yang Hongwu looked at Taitsong Linkong. Although this guy was trapped, Yang Hongwu hadn't used his killing move. Therefore, he could still resist. However, he couldn't attack Yang Hongwu. After all, this wasn't a killing formation. It was just trapping him. However, how could Yang Hongwu's formation be so simple? Now, Yang Hongwu had only activated a part of the formation. In fact, this was a compound formation. This dragon-locking formation was just a formation that had activated the Scroll of Fortune as the eye of the formation. A true killing formation was one that used the Destruction Sky Palace as the eye of the formation. That was the true, terrifying killing power. Now, Yang Hongwu hadn't truly activated it. He hadn't killed Taitsong Linkong yet because Yang Hongwu wanted to know some information from Taitsong Linkong's mouth. "Let me go, and I can spare your life." Taitsong Linkong looked at Yang Hongwu. There wasn't the slightest fear in his eyes. His tone was very calm. Yang Hongwu frowned slightly. This guy was trapped by his formation, but he was still so calm. It seemed that this guy wasn't that simple. He should still have a trump card that he hadn't used yet. However, for Yang Hongwu, this was normal. Taitsong Linkong could be considered a genius. Moreover, he wasn't an ordinary genius. Such people usually had their own life-saving trump cards. "Spare my life?" Yang Hongwu looked at him and smiled contemptuously. "Your tone is really big. In the past, many people had said such words to me. However, none of them had a good ending. They all died very, very miserably. Do you know that? It seems that you're not willing to let go of this formation." Taitsong Linkong said, "I'll give you one more chance. After all, you're a genius of my Taitsong dragons. The bloodline in your body is very high. If you're trained, your potential will surpass mine. You might even become the peak of my Taitsong dragons. The peak powerhouse will have the chance to replace our Taitsong dragons to fight for the king of myriad worlds." Taitsong Linkong's words made Yang Hongwu realize that this world was getting more and more complicated. Many secrets that he didn't know before might be slowly revealed to him. What king of myriad worlds? It seemed that he knew too little. Perhaps it was because his cultivation base wasn't enough and he couldn't come in contact with the higher levels. Perhaps, after he truly grasped the deity domain, he would be able to know the secrets of that level. Divine, emperor, and even the level that surpassed the emperor. He was still too weak. "If you want to come out, you'll have to break the formation yourself. However, my formation isn't something that any trash can break." Yang Hongwu smiled and said, "I advise you not to try. A trash like you is far from qualified to break the formation. If you don't break the formation, you'll suffer a backlash. If you lose your life because of the backlash, the gains won't make up for the losses." "Good, very good. Little bastard, you're courting death. Do you know that? If those two dragons' treasures were still in your hands, I might be a little afraid. However, now that you don't have those two dragons' treasures, you still dare to be so arrogant. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How can a mere formation trap me? You're too naive." Taitsong Linkong was extremely furious in his heart. That formation greatly suppressed him. At that moment, he felt that he was simply unable to use his power. However, he did not panic because the true trump card in his hand was the palace. He only needed to use it to break through the formation. With the help of this palace's power, he could easily break the formation. Originally, he didn't want to use this move. After all, once he activated the power of this palace, others would sense it. He had been waiting here for 10,000 years in order to obtain the true inheritance of Taitsong Dragon God. Unfortunately, after so long, he still hadn't obtained the inheritance. It was said that in order to activate the inheritance of Taitsong Dragon God, one had to pass the test of Taitsong Dragon God. He couldn't activate it himself, so he had been waiting here, waiting for someone who could activate the inheritance. The moment Yang Hongwu appeared, he was extremely surprised. Yang Hongwu's bloodline grade was higher than his. Moreover, Yang Hongwu's cultivation was only at level 5 Divine Lord Realm. This was definitely his chance. What he wanted was to use Yang Hongwu to activate the inheritance of Taitsong Dragon God, and then replace Yang Hongwu. However, he didn't expect that Yang Hongwu actually had two Dragon Supreme Treasures. With his cultivation of Divine Emperor Realm, he was still no match for Yang Hongwu. Fortunately, Yang Hongwu had brought two women with him, so he had a weakness. He seized this weakness and forced Yang Hongwu to give up the two Supreme Treasures, giving him a chance. However, he didn't expect that Yang Hongwu's trump card wasn't just the two Dragon Supreme Treasures. He was also an Array Master, a powerful Array Master. This formation could actually restrain him and trap him, making him unable to use the power in his body. He was extremely shocked. If they were outside, he would have become a lamb waiting to be slaughtered by Yang Hongwu. However, he wasn't worried at all in the main hall. This hall was his greatest trump card. Although he wasn't able to activate the formation and his cultivation didn't increase by much, he used these 10,000 years to truly grasp the secrets of this great hall and gain control of this great hall. Although he wasn't able to activate the formation and his cultivation didn't increase by much, he used these 10,000 years to truly grasp the secrets of this great hall. The core of the hall. In their clan, only he had truly grasped this secret and could truly activate the power of Taitsong Divine Hall. Taitsong Dragon Hall open. Following Taitsong Linkong's roar, the entire main hall began to change. A powerful and overbearing power erupted from the statue of Taitsong Dragon God. The power that gushed out from the statue was boundless. It could crush all existences. Yang Hongwu's formation collapsed in front of this overbearing power. With a groan, Yang Hongwu withdrew the scroll of good fortune. Yang Hongwu also suffered a backlash when the formation was broken. Yang Hongwu stared at Taitsong Linkong, who was in the air. This was something he hadn't expected. Yang Hongwu, who was originally very confident, had a grave expression on his face. Chapter 1653. Could it be that Taitsong Dragon God had left his power in this statue? Yang Hongwu thought so. If he could devour and refine this power, then his strength should be greatly improved. However, the current situation was to deal with Taitsong Linkong's attack. At this moment, the entire Taitsong Divine Palace was under the control of Taitsong Linkong. If he could not stop him, then he was afraid that he would die here. Little bastard, where are you going now? Go to hell. Taitsong Linkong roared and erupted with an amazing power, instantly sending Yang Hongwu flying dozens of feet away. Damn it, little bastard, you're quite capable. Your body is actually so strong. This attack bombarded Yang Hongwu's body, but it did not kill Yang Hongwu. This made Taitsong Linkong very surprised. The strength of Yang Hongwu's body was beyond his expectation. It was really too strong. However, I don't believe that your body can withstand my attacks forever. Taitsong Linkong's eyes flashed with strong, killing intent. He once again launched an attack, controlling the entire Taitsong Divine Palace. The power that erupted instantly surrounded Yang Hongwu. In the entire Divine Palace, sword chi burst out. Sword chi burst out. The sword chi was densely packed and filled with a destructive aura. The power of the sword way. Yang Hongwu looked at the densely packed sword chi and his face sank. Although he did not master the sword way, he knew that the sword way was the most overbearing and terrifying one among the thousands of great Daos. These sword chi contained a terrifying power of the sword way that was far more powerful than his own. The power of the sword way that he had seen before was much more powerful and overbearing. It was almost as overbearing as the power of the great Tao Thunder Tribulation that he had encountered before. Damn it! Yang Hongwu's face was incomparably dignified. He had no confidence that he could withstand this overbearing sword chi at all. If he could not withstand it, then there was no need to talk about Pang Liren and the other two girls. Yang Hongwu helped the two girls to withstand the previous attack. However, the current attack was omnidirectional. Even if Yang Hongwu had the chi in a Trinity Secret technique, he could not withstand all of it. This was what Yang Hongwu was worried about. Brother Yang, don't worry about us. Hurry up and leave this place. Pang Liren said at this time. Impossible. I will never leave you two behind. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, "What a joke. Since when did he leave the girls behind? This was not his style. Don't worry. This little bit of power is not enough to make me fall." Yang Hongwu coldly snorted and waved his hand. This palace was the Heavenly Palace. After Yang Hongwu summoned the Heavenly Palace of Destruction, Yang's protection, the two girls. As for Yang Hongwu himself, there was nothing he could do. He had no choice but to use his trump card. Although the devouring furnace was powerful and overbearing, Yang Hongwu knew that the devouring furnace could not devour so much overbearing sword chi in such a short time. Since there was no other way and it was impossible to accomplish, then he could only use the power of the life seal. This was to mobilize the power of his own inner world. Now that Yang Hongwu's inner world had merged with the life continent, it was many times stronger than before. Not only that, but Yang Hongwu also had two trump cards. One was the Dharma Eye of Annihilation, and the other was the Divine Tree of Fortune. The Divine Tree of Fortune was constantly absorbing the power of fortune in the void. The creation energy was the most mysterious energy in the Great Thousand Universe. Once the creation energy was used, how powerful and overbearing would it be? The creation energy was even more powerful than the origin energy of the world. This was the real source of Yang Hongwu's confidence. After protecting the two girls, Yang Hongwu coldly snorted and looked at Taitsong Linkong. "Do you really think that you can kill me? You're too naive. I'll let you know what a real genius is, what a real expert is." Yang Hongwu coldly snorted. A real genius, a real expert, can erupt under any adversity, no matter how strong they are. They can defeat any enemy. A real genius becomes stronger when facing a real genius. You can never imagine how terrifying the other party is, or how many trump cards the other party has. As Yang Hongwu spoke, his aura continued to rise. The power of the life continent was added to his body. He raised his hand slightly, and something appeared in the middle of his palm. It was a huge seal. This huge seal was the life seal that Yang Hongwu had obtained. This was also the strongest and most powerful treasure in Yang Hongwu's hands. After merging with the fragments of the life seal in the life continent, the current life seal was extremely powerful. Yang Hongwu poured all the creation energy absorbed by the creation divine tree into the life seal. The moment the creation energy merged with the life seal, the entire life seal burst out with a dazzling light. This light illuminated the entire Taitsong Divine Palace. At this moment, the life seal burst out with a pressure that was even more terrifying and powerful than the Taitsong Dragon God statue in the Taitsong Divine Palace. Taitsong Linkong felt a terrifying pressure. He could feel the aura of death. Damn it, how could this be? After discovering this situation, Taitsong Linkong was extremely terrified. He did not expect that Yang Hongwu still had a treasure. Although this huge seal could not suppress his bloodline like the Dragon Gate and the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, he could clearly feel it. The power of this huge seal gave him a pressure that was even greater than the two Dragon Supreme Treasures. Where did this little bastard come from? He actually had such a powerful treasure. Kill him. I must kill him. I cannot let him use the power of that huge seal. Taitsong Linkong had a premonition that if he allowed Yang Hongwu to unleash the power of the seal, he would most likely die without a doubt. Taitsong Godly Sword slashed. Taitsong Linkong stretched out his hand and pointed at Yang Hongwu. In an instant, the overbearing sword chi in the entire Taitsong Divine Palace merged into one and turned into a terrifying huge sword. This terrifying huge sword was the Taitsong Dragon God's personal sword, the Taitsong Godly Sword. Although this was not the actual Taitsong Godly Sword, it was condensed from the sword chi left behind by the Taitsong Dragon God. The strength of the Taitsong Dragon God had long surpassed the Emperor realm. How terrifying was the sword chi left behind by him? Chapter 1654. Great Seal of Life, suppress. Yang Hongwu roared and instantly sent the common life seal forward. Other things could not withstand it. Even the Destruction Sky Palace could not withstand the overbearing sword. The attack power of the sword was the strongest attack that Yang Hongwu had ever received. Facing such a strong attack, Yang Hongwu had no choice but to use his strongest trump card. The common life seal erupted with unprecedented power. The power that erupted was the strongest power that Yang Hongwu could unleash. At that moment, the common life seal and the Taitsong's sacred sword collided. Two terrifying forces erupted in an instant. At that moment, the two forces were evenly matched. No one could do anything to the other. Seeing the scene, Taitsong Linkhong's face changed. Impossible. How is this possible? How can the Taitsong's sacred sword be blocked? Taitsong Linkhong could not believe it. The Taitsong's sacred sword contained the power of the Taitsong dragon god. Even if it was not the peak of the Taitsong's sacred sword, it was still a supreme expert's attack. The overbearing sword intent. Could it be blocked? Unless the opponent's strength had reached the level of the Taitsong dragon god, who could withstand such a terrifying attack? No one. However, at that moment, the truth was right in front of him. The power of the Taitsong sacred sword had been blocked by the huge seal. How could he not be shocked? I don't believe that a mere seal can withstand the attack of the Taitsong sacred sword. At this moment, Taitsong Linkhong was also ruthless. He knew very well that he had already used the Taitsong godly sword. At this point, if he couldn't kill Yang Hongwu, then he would die. It would be him. He had no way out now. His only chance was to kill Yang Hongwu. Taitsong Linkhong was in a frenzy. He burned his blood and soul power to activate the power of the Taitsong sacred sword. At that moment, Yang Hongwu felt immense pressure. The incomparably powerful common life grand seal was actually suppressed by the Taitsong divine sword. Yang Hongwu's face was a little pale. After all, his strength was only at the 5th level of the divine monarch realm. He had not even reached the divine emperor realm. Although the life great seal was powerful, the consumption was not small. Even though Yang Hongwu's spiritual energy was much stronger than others of the same level, it was still difficult for him to support such a large consumption of energy. Devouring oven, come out. Yang Hongwu clenched his teeth and looked at the Taitsong godly sword. The power of this huge sword was indeed terrifying. He had just used the life seal, but it was only able to contend with it. He could not shatter this Taitsong godly sword. With Yang Hongwu's shout, a huge furnace appeared in the sky. This huge furnace was like a black hole, erupting with a terrifying, devouring power, as though it was going to swallow the Taitsong godly sword. As soon as this huge, devouring furnace appeared, the surrounding spiritual energy was like a whale sucking in water, crazily devouring the surrounding spiritual energy. In this way, Yang Hongwu's spiritual energy was constantly replenished, allowing Yang Hongwu to pull back the disadvantage. The life great seal, which was originally suppressed, was faintly suppressing the Taitsong godly sword. Seeing this scene, Taitsong Linkhong's face changed. He realized that the power of the Taitsong divine hall was actually being devoured by Yang Hongwu's huge furnace at an extremely fast speed. If this continued, the spiritual energy in the entire Taitsong divine hall would be devoured. However, at that moment, he had no other choice. This was because he had already burned his own vital energy and soul. The consumption was huge. If this continued, he would not be able to withstand it at all. However, if he did not do anything, the Taitsong godly sword would not be able to suppress the life great seal. At that moment, Taitsong Linkhong had already fallen into a dilemma. Give up? That was obviously impossible. He was willing to give up, but would Yang Hongwu give him a chance? Moreover, even if he gave up at that moment, he would suffer a terrifying backlash, which was not something he could withstand. Damn it! Taitsong Linkhong looked at Yang Hongwu with a terrifying cold light in his eyes. At that moment, Taitsong Linkhong's face was incomparably ferocious. Little bastard, you forced me to do this. Taitsong Linkhong said coldly. Even if I die, I won't let you have an easy time. As he said that, Taitsong Linkhong's hands continuously formed seals, striking out a series of mysterious seals. He muttered to himself. He cut his finger. The blood floated up and condensed into a strange seal in the void. After the seal was condensed, It formed a huge altar in the void. Yang Hongwu's face changed. Sacrificial technique. This was the sacrificial technique. He actually used himself as a sacrifice to summon experts from the foreign domain to help him fight. Crazy, you're crazy. Yang Hongwu was not completely unaware of this. Naturally, Yang Hongwu knew what Taitsong Linkong was trying to do. This was the ancient sacrificial technique. In the inheritance given to him by the sacred doctor of the dragons, Li Longjin, there was information about this ancient sacrificial technique. The ancient sacrificial technique used oneself as a primer, as a sacrifice to summon experts from a higher space to help him fight. The things summoned by this ancient sacrificial technique were not definite. They could be incomparably righteous or incomparably evil. However, generally speaking, the things that were summoned were demonic creatures from the ancient land of exile. These demonic creatures from the ancient banished land were incomparably evil, but their strength was also incomparably terrifying. Once they were summoned, their strength would be extremely terrifying, and they would often directly destroy everything that they encountered. Haha, little bastard, I didn't expect you to know this secret technique of mine. Yes, this is the ancient sacrificial technique. With my flesh and blood as a sacrifice, listen to my call. Evil demonic dragon, descend. As Taitsong Linkong roared, the sacrificial ritual was completed. The entire space of the Taitsong divine palace. There were bursts of squirming. In the next moment, a spatial passage appeared. From the spatial passage, an incomparably evil aura appeared. This aura was extremely powerful and terrifying. When the aura was exposed, the entire Taitsong divine palace was shrouded in it. Damn it! Yang Hongwu did not expect Taitsong Linkong to be so desperate to perform such an evil sacrificial summoning technique. Chapter 1655. What a wonderful aura. I'm finally here again. How many years has it been? I, the Sin Demon Dragon, can finally smell the scent of freedom. The Sin Demon Dragon's voice came from the passage. Then, Yang Hongwu saw a huge body appear. It was a huge dragon. It was a huge dragon. It was pitch black, and its shiny black dragon scales were shining with dazzling light. His teeth were as sharp as razors. It was the Sin Demon Dragon. On its huge dragon head, there was a mark of the word sin. Sinful demonic dragon. Haha. It really is the sinful demonic dragon. I never thought that I would really succeed. Little bastard, this time, you're dead for sure. Taitsong Linkong looked at Yang Hongwu and shouted, Little guy, did you summon me? The Sin Demon Dragon looked at Taitsong Linkong and said, TSK, TSK. A Taitsong dragon can actually summon me. What a surprise. Yes, Lord Sin Demon Dragon. I'm the one who summoned you. Please kill that guy. There's a supreme treasure on him. As long as you kill him, you'll get great benefits. Taitsong Linkong looked at Yang Hongwu and said, All right, I'll kill this human for you. But before that, I'll kill you first. The Sin Demon Dragon said. Taitsong Linkong's face changed when he heard that. Although he used himself as a sacrifice to summon the Sin Demon Dragon, he didn't want to die. Lord, what do you mean? Taitsong Linkong looked at the Sin Demon Dragon and couldn't believe his ears. Generally speaking, no matter what was summoned, it wouldn't be the first to bite back at its master. Even if it wanted to bite back, it would have to wait until the opponent was killed. If the opponent was too strong, it wouldn't be able to defeat the opponent. But now, the Sin Demon Dragon wanted to bite back at its master and kill him. How could Taitsong Linkong not be shocked? What do I mean? The Sin Demon Dragon smiled and looked at Taitsong Linkong coldly. As a Taitsong dragon, don't you know the grudge between the Sin Demon Dragon and the Taitsong Dragons? If it wasn't for the Taitsong Dragons, why would I be sealed in the dark ancient land of exile? What? Taitsong Linkong was dumbfounded. The Sin Demon Dragon was the enemy of the Taitsong Dragons. Taitsong Linkong was the one who exiled and sealed. But I'm the one. But I'm the Taitsong Dragons, but I'm not your enemy. This young man had a powerful bloodline power within his body. What was this? Haha, do you think I'm a fool? Although he has the bloodline of the dragons, and it's indeed very advanced. His bloodline is even more advanced than mine. However, he's not your Taitsong dragons. The Sin Demon Dragon looked at Taitsong Linkong with a look of disdain. How? How is this possible? How can his bloodline not belong to the Taitsong dragons? He looks exactly the same as our ancestor, the Taitsong dragon god. Taitsong Linkong murmured, "All right, I'll let you live long enough. Kid, go to hell." As soon as the Sin Demon Dragon finished speaking, he clawed at Taitsong Linkong with his huge claw. The claw instantly tore the space apart. The power was very overbearing. Moreover, there was a terrifying demonic aura on the claw. Wherever the demonic aura touched, there was a sizzling sound. Everything was corroded. Terrifying. It was extremely terrifying. In the Taitsong Divine Hall, the entire Divine Hall had a powerful seal. Even a table or chair had a powerful seal. Without enough power, it was impossible to destroy it. However, under the terrifying demonic chi of the sinful demonic dragon, it was like a piece of paper that was easily destroyed. They were destroyed. Taitsong Linkong's face changed drastically. He did not want to die yet. Originally, he wanted to wait until the Sin Demon Dragon was summoned and kill Yang Hongwu. Then, he would use a secret technique to send the Sin Demon Dragon back. However, the first person the Sin Demon Dragon wanted to deal with was not Yang Hongwu, but himself. How could he not be angry? However, there was nothing he could do. It was unrealistic to send the Sin Demon Dragon back. He had no way to do it now. After all, it would cost a lot to open the passageway. Originally, he planned to take control of the Taitsong Divine Hall after Yang Hongwu was killed. He would use all the power of the Taitsong Divine Hall to open the passageway and send the Sin Demon Dragon back. However, there was nothing he could do now. Yang Hongwu. Taitsong Linkong stepped back and looked at Yang Hongwu. "How about we join forces? You want me to join forces with you to deal with the Sin Demon Dragon?" Yang Hongwu knew what Taitsong Linkong was thinking when he heard it. It was not strange at all. That's right. You've also seen how powerful this evil demonic dragon is. If you and I join hands, we might have a chance of survival. However, if we don't join hands, then both of us will die. Taitsong Linkong said to Yang Hongwu, "You summoned the Sin Demon Dragon to deal with me. Why should I agree to join forces with you?" Yang Hongwu snorted coldly. "Aren't you thinking too simply? You should know that you and I are enemies now. It's either you die or I die. The Sin Demon Dragon wants to kill you now. If you kill me, it will be your turn. Don't tell me you don't understand this?" Taitsong Linkong's face changed when he saw Yang Hongwu rejecting him. He was now controlling the power of the entire Taitsong Divine Hall to fight against Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu was still devouring the power of the Taitsong Divine Hall crazily. The seal was confronting the Taitsong Divine Sword. If he were to remove the Taitsong Divine Sword, he would also suffer a backlash. If he were to deal with the Sin Demon Dragon, he would be severely injured by the backlash of the Taitsong Divine Sword. At that moment, he felt bitter. He was trapped in a trap of his own making. However, there was no point in regretting it now. There was no medicine for regret in this world. Chapter 1656. There's indeed a powerful force in my body, but I don't need to use it to deal with you. Yang Hongwu snorted, full of confidence. It's good to be confident, but if you're overconfident, you'll become arrogant. Little guy, although I don't know who you are, you're just a piece of trash in front of me before you inherit the power of your previous life. I can destroy you with a flick of my finger." Sin said. The evil demonic dragon squinted his eyes, and his sharp claws were ready to claw at Yang Hongwu. In the distance, Taitsong Linkong, who had just been sent flying, couldn't help but laugh and said, "Little bastard, do you regret it now? I've said that the evil demonic dragon won't let you go." "Humph." Yang Hongwu snorted, and his figure flashed, disappearing from the spot and dodging the evil demonic dragon's attack. "Space Dao, no wonder you're so arrogant. It turns out that you've comprehended the Space Dao. However, do you think that you can avoid my attack just because you've comprehended the Space Dao? You're too naive if that's the case. I, the evil demonic dragon, have dominated the universe for so many years. There are countless experts, including those who have comprehended the Tao of space. Every one of them is much stronger than you. If I want to kill you, no one can stop me." The evil demonic dragon snorted, opened his mouth, and spat out a breath. This breath instantly shrouded the entire Taitsong Divine Hall. Yang Hongwu frowned and instantly felt the change. The evil demonic dragon had actually sealed the surrounding space. Damn it. Originally, Taitsong Linkhong was prepared to leave the Taitsong Divine Hall while the evil demonic dragon was dealing with Yang Hongwu, and then seal the Taitsong Divine Hall. However, he didn't expect the evil demonic dragon to seal the space of the Taitsong Divine Hall, and he couldn't leave. Taitsong Divine Hall. You actually sealed the Taitsong Divine Hall. Yang Hongwu looked at the evil demonic dragon and said, "Haha, that's right, little fellow. Do you think that just because you've comprehended some space Tao, you're invincible and no one can deal with you? I'll let you know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Now, this hall has been sealed by me using a secret technique. No one can leave this place unless they can kill me. No one is an exception." Ha! Ha! The evil dragon laughed arrogantly. In his eyes, Yang Hongwu was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. "Yang Hongwu, we must join hands." At that moment, Taitsong Linkhong spoke again. Now that Taitsong Divine Hall had been sealed, he was once again aware of the crisis. Although he did not like Yang Hongwu, he had no choice but to cooperate with Yang Hongwu. If he did not cooperate, only death would await him. The evil demonic dragon was too powerful and terrifying. He had sealed the entire Taitsong Divine Hall with a wave of his hand. One should know that he had been in the Taitsong Divine Hall for 10,000 years. He had grasped a part of the power of the Taitsong Divine Hall and activated the power of the statue in the Taitsong Divine Hall. Now that the evil demonic dragon had sealed the space, Taitsong Linkhong could not break it even if he used the power of the statue. The only way was for the two of them to cooperate. Although the nefarious demon dragon was powerful, he had been sealed in the banished land for countless years. As such, his cultivation was far from reaching its peak. Therefore, there was still a chance to deal with him now. The evil demonic dragon also had a weakness. As long as they could find the weakness of the evil demonic dragon, not only could the two of them escape from the claws of the evil demonic dragon, they might even have a chance to kill the evil demonic dragon. Therefore, Taitsong Linkhong was secretly transmitting his voice to Jian Wushuang. "Yang Hongwu, you have to think carefully. In fact, there is no deep hatred between you and me, right? However, this evil demonic dragon was unintentionally released by me. Do you know what the banished land is? Every single one of those sealed, there was a heinous and incomparably evil devil. Every one of them has at least destroyed a great world. If this evil demonic dragon escapes, this great world will probably be destroyed. Can you bear to see the divine realm being destroyed?" Taitsong Linkhong said. "TSK, I didn't expect little Azure Dragon to know so much." At this moment, the evil demonic dragon turned his head and looked at Taitsong Linkhong. "That's right. Everyone in the banished land is extremely ferocious and powerful. Moreover, every one of them has at least destroyed a great world. Let me tell you, before I was sealed in the banished land, I had destroyed 10 great worlds. One of them was the world of the clan leader of the Taitsong dragons. You can eavesdrop on my voice transmission?" Hearing the evil demonic dragon's words, Taitsong Linkhong's expression changed greatly. "It's just a small trick. In my space, I can know everything you're thinking. However, this kid is a little strange. I can't tell what he's thinking." The evil demonic dragon looked at Yang Hongwu in surprise. Mind-reading technique. Yang Hongwu narrowed his eyes. This gave Yang Hongwu a fright. Fortunately, the evil demonic dragon couldn't read his thoughts. He could only see Taitsong Linkhong's thoughts. If the Sin Demon Dragon knew what he was thinking and easily read his secrets, he would be in big trouble. Not bad. Mind-reading technique. You know quite a lot. Let me tell you the truth. This little Azure Dragon has a different idea. TSK. He really wants to kill you, take your treasures, and plunder your bloodline power. The evil demonic dragon clicked his tongue. That's not it. Hearing that, Taitsong Linkhong's expression changed. He said to Yang Hongwu, "You can't trust him." "Who is he?" "Evil demonic dragon. He's trying to drive a wedge between us." If we don't work together to deal with him now, we'll all die. I'll return these 2 items to you." Saying that, Taitsong Linkhong threw the Dragon Gate and Dragon Transformation Pagoda to Yang Hongwu. The evil demonic dragon wanted to snatch them back. However, the Dragon Transformation Pagoda and Dragon Gate turned into 2 light dragons and instantly entered between Yang Hongwu's eyebrows. Dragon Transformation Pagoda and Dragon Gate? The evil demonic dragon saw the 2 items, and his eyes were filled with greed. "You actually have the Dragon Transformation Pagoda and Dragon Gate. Could it be that you're his reincarnation?" The evil demonic dragon looked at Yang Hongwu with shock and fear in his eyes. If the kid in front of him was the reincarnation of that person, it would be terrifying. Chapter 16:57. In the eyes of others, the 2 supreme treasures might be incomparably precious. If they could obtain them, their strength would definitely increase tremendously. However, that was not the case in the eyes of the Sin demonic dragon. In his opinion, these supreme treasures would not yield so easily. If he was not fated to obtain them, he would obtain them. However, there was not much help for him. In the heart of the Sin demonic dragon, the most precious thing that he wanted the most was not the supreme treasures, but the power in Yang Hongwu's body and the inheritance memory of that person. That was what he really wanted. If he could get his hands on it, his strength would soar to the sky. He was very clear about the strength of that person because he had seen it before. At that time, the Sin demonic dragon was still at his peak. However, even though he was at his peak, he was still as weak as a baby in front of that person. He was not worth mentioning at all. From this, it could be seen how terrifying that person was. However, that person was so terrifying. Even if the Sin demonic dragon was his reincarnation, he would probably be turned into ashes if he was not careful. The Sin demonic dragon knew very well that his chances of success were very slim. After all, at that level, if one wanted to reincarnate and cultivate again, they would have a backup plan. Even if it was him, if he did that, he would leave behind a powerful backup plan for himself. If someone dared to attack his reincarnated body, only death would await them. However, although it was risky, it was worth a try. After all, the temptation was too great. After thinking for a while, the Sin demonic dragon shook his head and gave up on such a tempting idea. If Yang Hongwu was really the reincarnation of that person, the Sin demonic dragon absolutely could not touch him. After all, the Sin demonic dragon did not want to die. However, Yang Hongwu's real body could be left untouched. However, the 2 treasures could be snatched away. Not only the Dragon Transformation Pagoda and Dragon Gate, but also the other treasures that Yang Hongwu possessed. "Boy, hand over the treasures on you, and I can spare your life." The Sin demonic dragon looked at Yang Hongwu and said, "You want my treasures?" Yang Hongwu squinted his eyes. Originally, he had already noticed the Sin demonic dragon's murderous intent towards him. However, he did not expect the Sin demonic dragon's murderous intent to disappear in an instant. This surprised Yang Hongwu. After all, Yang Hongwu had cultivated the killing Tao. Humans were very sensitive towards murderous intent. Unless a person's cultivation had reached a very high level, where they could restrain their murderous intent to not reveal it. However, if the Sin demonic dragon's murderous intent, Yang Hongwu would still be able to sense it. Although the sinful demon dragon was powerful, it probably hadn't reached that level yet. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was very clear about the sinful demon dragon's killing intent towards him. However, to his surprise, the sinful demon dragon's murderous intent towards Yang Hongwu only lasted for a split second. After that, it no longer had any murderous intent. Yang Hongwu could not sense any murderous intent from the Sin demonic dragon. This meant that the Sin demonic dragon had given up on killing him. This was something that Yang Hongwu could not see through. "That's right. Boy, as long as you hand over the treasures on you, I will not make things difficult for you. After all, you are not the Taitsong dragons." As soon as the Sin demonic dragon said that, Taitsong Linkhong exploded. What a joke. If Yang Hongwu left, he would not be a match for the Sin demonic dragon alone. Moreover, he could see that the Sin demonic dragon would not let him go. "Yang Hongwu, you can't trust this guy. He will not let you go. Think about it. What kind of person is the Sin demonic dragon? Can you trust his words? A demon that once destroyed a great world and created countless sins. Can you trust his words? Taitsong Linkong shouted. Taitsong Linkong shouted. Shut up. The Sin demonic dragon glared at Taitsong Linkong and waved his claws. A blast of energy rushed out and sent Taitsong Linkong flying again. Taitsong Linkong's strength was nothing in front of the Sin demonic dragon. This attack had injured Taitsong Linkong quite badly. If it weren't for the power of the Taitsong shrine and the statue of the Taitsong dragon god, this attack would have killed him. The Sin demonic dragon's strength was shocking. Impossible. If you want my treasures, come and take them yourself. Yang Hongwu said coldly. What a joke. How could he hand over his treasures? Moreover, the Sin demonic dragon's strength had not reached the point where Yang Hongwu could not fight back. Although the Sin demonic dragon was powerful, Yang Hongwu was not afraid of him. Firstly, the Sin demonic dragon was a dragon. For Yang Hongwu, as long as they were dragons, they would be suppressed by him. Secondly, the Sin demonic dragon was from the demon clan. The power in his body was the demonic force. Yang Hongwu happened to have a secret technique that could counter the demonic force. Whether it was the demonic finger, the life seal, or the red lotus fire, each of these could counter the demonic force. In addition to his suppression of the dragon's bloodline, Yang Hongwu was confident that he could suppress the Sin demonic dragon. Taking a step back, even if he could not deal with the Sin demonic dragon, he could still escape from this place. The Sin demonic dragon sealed the Taitsong shrine. Although this kind of secret restriction was powerful, it was nothing to Yang Hongwu. No matter what kind of formation or restriction it was, as long as Yang Hongwu wanted to break it, there was nothing he could not break. Unless the opponent's strength was so strong that it had reached a level that Yang Hongwu could not reach. However, the Sin demonic dragon had not reached that level. The Sin demonic dragon was probably in the Emperor realm. However, even if he was in the Emperor realm, his cultivation was suppressed here. Moreover, the Sin demonic dragon had been sealed for countless years. How much was his strength compared to when he was at his peak? Come to think of it, the Sin demonic dragon's strength was probably only at the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. Kid, are you telling the truth? Do you know the consequences of rejecting me? The Sin demonic dragon looked coldly at Yang Hongwu. His eyes were filled with terrifying and sharp light, like a sharp sword chi. As long as Yang Hongwu dared to give an answer that did not satisfy him, the Sin demonic dragon would immediately take action. His hand was like a thunderbolt, completely suppressing Yang Hongwu. Yang Hongwu could see that the Sin demonic dragon was about to take action. Chapter 1658. Seeing this scene, everyone's eyes widened. These few treasures were all supreme, utmost treasures. Even the Sin devil dragon was shocked. Each of these treasures was incomparably precious. Even for a cultivator at his level, it was hard for him to possess one. Yet, Yang Hongwu actually possessed so many. Most likely, only his reincarnation could possess so many supreme treasures. As for Taitsong Linkong, he was incomparably envious. He did not have a single one of such supreme treasures. However, Yang Hongwu possessed so many of them. This comparison was really infuriating. No wonder Yang Hongwu was willing to give up 2 supreme treasures in order to save the 2 women. It was not that he was willing, but he did not care. At this moment, Taitsong Linkong smiled bitterly in his heart. Yang Hongwu possessed so many supreme treasures in his hands. Even without using the Dragon Gate and the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, Yang Hongwu could still defeat him easily. He was extremely depressed now. If he knew that Yang Hongwu possessed so many trump cards, why would he scheme against him? If you had such strength, would I still deal with you if you exposed it earlier? Although Taitsong Linkong was depressed, there was also a glimmer of hope in his heart. That was the hope of survival. If Yang Hongwu could defeat the Sin Devil Dragon, then he still had a chance of survival. However, if Yang Hongwu failed, it was absolutely impossible for him to be a match for the Sin Devil Dragon alone. At that time, he would only have a dead end. This is to set up a formation. Seeing Yang Hongwu's action, the Sin Devil Dragon was taken aback. It turned out that his seemingly unintentional action earlier was actually a preparation for setting up a formation. A fifth-level divine lord human, although he might be that person's reincarnation, within such a short time, under his eyelids, he soundlessly set up a powerful array formation. How could it not surprise him? Heaven exterminating great formation. Following that, Yang Hongwu let out a furious roar, and the entire area was enveloped by mysterious power. This power was a power that could destroy the heavens and the earth. It was extremely domineering. The space was instantly sealed. It was even more terrifying than when the sinful demon dragon sealed the space. At that moment, there was no spiritual energy in the entire Taitsong sacred hall. It was completely isolated from the outside world. Even the sinful demon dragon could not sense the space outside. This formation was too powerful, too terrifying. This formation had already formed a small world, and an eye had appeared in the sky. It was the Dharma Eye of Annihilation. The sin demonic dragon swallowed his saliva. The Dharma Eye of Annihilation. Even he had only heard of this thing and had never seen it before. It was said that if the Dharma Eye of Annihilation was fully cultivated, it could easily destroy a macro world, which was as easy as snapping a finger. This was much more terrifying than what he was capable of. Even for that person, it would take a lot of energy to destroy a macro world. However, when the Dharma Eye of Annihilation reached the grand completion stage, not only would it not consume any energy, but it would also bring great benefits. The Dharma Eye of Annihilation relied on destroying worlds and plundering their world origins to improve. This Dharma Eye of Annihilation did not seem to have matured yet, but he could see that this Dharma Eye of Annihilation had already devoured a lot of world origins. The Dharma Eye of Annihilation rotated, and its aura fell on the sinful demon dragon. Looking at the Dharma Eye of Annihilation's movements, the sinful demon dragon's heart thumped. He had a bad feeling. It was staring at him. This Dharma Eye of Annihilation was actually staring at his world. The sinful demon dragon was furious. A Dharma Eye of Annihilation that had not yet matured was actually staring at his inner world. He had to admit that this was a huge joke. This Dharma Eye of Annihilation, let alone reaching the grand completion stage, did not even have the power to fight against the Emperor. In terms of pure power, it could not even destroy a micro-world. How could the sinful demon dragon not be angry that such a Dharma Eye of Annihilation that had not yet matured was staring at his inner world? Normally, the sinful demon dragon had absolute confidence that he could destroy such a Dharma Eye of Annihilation that had not yet matured. However, the sinful demon dragon felt that something was wrong here. This was because the formation set up by Yang Hongwu had already taken shape. This Dharma Eye of Annihilation was only a part of this formation. Of course, more importantly, this Dharma Eye of Annihilation had become the eye of the heavenly Tao of this formation world. The so-called Eye of the Heavenly Tao was the eyes and ears of the Heavenly Tao that monitor the world. The Eye of the Heavenly Tao could evolve into the Eye of Heavenly Punishment to destroy any living being that resisted the Heavenly Tao. Any living being under the Heavenly Tao would not be able to avoid it. Logically speaking, the world created by the formation was only a small world. To the nefarious demon dragon, it was a small world. With his power, he could easily break open the small world and even destroy it. Even with his current strength, it would not be difficult for him to do so. Even now, his cultivation base had not recovered and was less than 1%. However, he had a bad premonition. When he mentioned his strength, the sinful demon dragon was shocked to find that his strength was suppressed. The suppression was very terrifying. A micro-world did indeed have the power of the laws. It could use the power of the laws to suppress anyone under the heavenly Tao of the micro-world. It was the same for people from the outside world who entered the micro-world. However, if one's strength surpassed the micro-world by too much, it would not be able to cause such a huge suppression. His strength was suppressed. In fact, if a power that surpassed the heavenly Tao of the micro-world were to erupt, it might even cause the micro-world to collapse. However, this micro-world was so special. It was derived from several supreme treasures. His strength indeed surpassed that of this micro-world. However, this micro-world was very special. It could actually devour his strength to strengthen itself. This was what frightened the sinful demon dragon. He had only just noticed this. If this were to continue for a while longer, his strength would be silently devoured. Chapter 1659. As the sinful demon dragon spoke, his aura surged. It could be seen that the sinful demon dragon's current power was extremely terrifying. This was the aura that a peerless powerhouse should have. If Yang Hongwu encountered such a powerhouse outside the formation, he would definitely hide as far away as possible. However, he was now in his own formation space. Moreover, he was from the Demon Dragon clan. Yang Hongwu naturally had a way to suppress him. Yang Hongwu couldn't help but laugh when he heard the sinful demon dragon's words. He looked at him and said, "You talk big. Sinful demon dragon, I know that you are very powerful. If you were at your peak or in the outside world, I wouldn't dare to fight with you. However, this is my formation, in the law world, and you are not at your peak state. Therefore, you can't deal with me. On the contrary, I can kill you if I want to." How could Yang Hongwu not know how powerful the sinful demon dragon was? It was impossible for Yang Hongwu to kill the sinful demon dragon in one go. Therefore, what Yang Hongwu wanted to do was to fight a protracted battle. Although Yang Hongwu didn't want to delay at all, there was no other way. After all, it was impossible to kill the sinful demon dragon quickly. As for reconciling with the sinful demon dragon, that wasn't very realistic. Right now, he and the sinful demon dragon were in an irreconcilable situation. Between the two of them, one of them must die. Yang Hongwu didn't want to die. Therefore, the one who would die would naturally be the sinful demon dragon. Boy, you are young, but you talk big. Even if you are the reincarnation of that person, you will still die here today. The sinful demon dragon was enraged. Its huge body kept moving. It opened its big mouth and spat out a dragon breath. The speed of the sinful demon dragon's dragon breath attack wasn't like ordinary dragons. The dragon breath that the sinful demon dragon spat out contained terrifying demonic power and terrifying destructive power. The target of the sinful demon dragon's dragon breath was not Yang Hongwu, but the eye of the heavens in the sky. Yang Hongwu was surprised to see this. He didn't expect the Sin Demon Dragon to see through the key of this formation. As long as the eye of the heavenly Tao, which was the Dharma eye of annihilation, was destroyed, this world would collapse on its own. Once the world formed by the array formation was destroyed, Yang Hongwu would definitely suffer a backlash. At that time, not to mention dealing with the Sin Demon Dragon, even protecting himself would be a huge problem. "Shatter for me." The Sin Demon Dragon roared and stared at the eye of the heavenly Tao. When the dragon breath was about to touch the eye of the heavenly Tao, a beam of light erupted from the eye of the heavenly Tao and struck the dragon breath. In the next moment, the two powerful forces collided and instantly exploded with a terrifying force. This force seemed to want to destroy the world. Devouring furnace, devour. Yang Hongwu roared, and the devouring furnace erupted with a terrifying power, frantically devouring these forces. Yang Hongwu used the Dharma Eye of Annihilation to launch a powerful attack and block the dragon breath. However, the consumption was also great. After all, Yang Hongwu's current cultivation was only at the 5th level Divine Lord realm. He hadn't even reached the Divine Emperor realm. The gap between him and the Sin Demon Dragon was huge. A 5th-layer Divine Lord Martial Artist. Even if he made use of countless supreme treasures and laid down a powerful array, to go against a martial artist who surpassed the Divine Emperor realm and still be able to resist the other party's attack, what kind of power did he have to withstand? Seeing this scene, Taitsong Linkong was extremely shocked. No matter what, Yang Hongwu's cultivation was only at the 5th level Divine Lord realm. Fighting against the Sin Demon Dragon as a 5th level Divine Lord and not falling into a disadvantageous position, he even had the upper hand. He even had a faint suppression on the Sin Demon Dragon. This was truly terrifying. This was simply an unparalleled evildoer. Since ancient times, There had never been a genius who could be comparable to him. In the divine domain, those so-called unparalleled geniuses and so-called peerless heavens prides were not worth mentioning at all in front of him. They were like trash, completely incomparable. In the face of such an evildoer, he actually wanted to scheme against him, kill him, and seize his bloodline power and treasures. Wasn't this courting death? However, he had to admit that if his idea was successful, he could replace Yang Hongwu and become an unparalleled evildoer like him. However, he could only think about it. Such a person had terrifying luck. Although he was a genius and thought that he had supreme luck, he couldn't be compared to Yang Hongwu. Such a person was definitely not someone he could covet. His calculations were simply not possible. Yang Hongwu's strength was not something he could covet. It could succeed. As for the Sin Demon Dragon, it was different. What kind of existence was the Sin Demon Dragon? He was already a terrifying expert in the ancient times. He was an unparalleled evil spirit that was sealed in the ancient land of exile. Which one of these evil spirits did not possess great luck? Although they had been sealed for countless years and their luck had been weakened, their strength was still very terrifying. The current Sin Demon Dragon's strength was much weaker compared to his peak. If he was at his peak, no one in this world would be able to contend against him. Even a peerless evildoer like Yang Hongwu would not be a match for him if he had not grown up yet. Claw. However, the Sin Demon Dragon had been sealed for countless years, and his cultivation had fallen greatly. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was able to suppress him. How dare you devour my strength to improve yourself? You're simply courting death. He realized that his previous attack was not able to destroy the Eye of Heavenly Tao. Moreover, Yang Hongwu actually dared to devour and refine his strength to make a breakthrough. This made the Sin Demon Dragon very angry. He stretched out his sharp claws. This time, he did not attack the Eye of Heavenly Tao. Instead, he clawed at Yang Hongwu. As soon as the Sin Demon Dragon moved, the formation set up by Yang Hongwu continuously produced barriers under Yang Hongwu's will, blocking the Sin Demon Dragon's attack. Those barriers were all spatial barriers. However, the power of the sinful demonic dragon was simply too powerful and overbearing. Even the thick spatial barriers were unable to withstand the sharp claws of the sinful demonic dragon and were gradually torn to pieces. Chapter 1660. The two golden divine dragons let out a loud roar and rushed towards the sinful demonic dragon's claws with great power. The two golden divine dragons were powerful and instantly repelled the sinful demonic dragon's attack. After repelling the sinful demonic dragon's attack, their power did not diminish and continued to attack the sinful demonic dragon. The power of the Dragon Gate. If it's the Real Dragon Gate, how could it be so weak? It turns out that it's not the Real Dragon Gate. The sinful demonic dragon said, "It's just a fragment of the Dragon Gate." Yang Hongwu was shocked when he heard this. He did not expect that this guy could see through it. Not far away, Taitsong Linkong's face changed. A broken Dragon Gate. No wonder Yang Hongwu did not hesitate when he threw the Dragon Gate to him. It turned out that this Dragon Gate was not the complete ancient Dragon Gate. So what? Yang Hongwu sneered and said, "Even if it's a broken Dragon Gate, it's enough to deal with you. This is my formation world. Here, I am the master. No matter how powerful your cultivation is, you will still be suppressed by my law. Do you think you can? Do you think you can withstand it?" This was Yang Hongwu's confidence. Haha, brat, I have to admit that you are indeed powerful to be able to create a small world with a formation. However, you have forgotten that every world has its own limit. The small world created by your formation is too weak. I only need to use your formation to create a small world. I only need to break the limit of your formation world and tear this small world apart. Then, you'll definitely die. The sinful demonic dragon laughed and moved his huge body. With a demonic dragon tail whip, a powerful force rushed towards the two divine dragons. Bang! A loud explosion was heard, and the two divine dragons that came out of the Dragon Gate were instantly sent flying. This attack was simply tyrannical beyond compare. What a terrifying attack! Taitsong Linkong was shocked. Although his strength was not bad, it was absolutely not enough in the face of such a powerful attack. He could not withstand more than a few moves. Kid, accept your fate. The sinful demonic dragon was extremely arrogant and shouted loudly. Accept my fate? Yang Hongwu sneered. I have never believed in fate. How can I accept my fate? Old Loach, your strength is not bad. If you become my mount, I can spare your life. However, if you continue to be stubborn, only death awaits you. Turning into ashes will be your end. You. Have you thought it through? The sinful demonic dragon's tone was overbearing, but Yang Hongwu's voice was even more overbearing. Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, the sinful demonic dragon's heart was about to explode. This brat was truly audacious. What arrogance! He actually dared to declare that he wanted him to be his mount. Even that person from back then didn't dare to say such a thing. He, the sinful demon dragon, had roamed the universe for millions of years. He had encountered countless experts and geniuses. He had seen many experts who were stronger, more arrogant, and more overbearing than him. However, no one dared to speak to him like that. No one dared to say that they wanted him to be their mount. However, Yang Hongwu said it. Moreover, he was only a 5th-level divine lord. Yet, he was so arrogant. You're courting death. Do you know that? The sinful demonic dragon stared at Yang Hongwu. Terrifying, murderous intent erupted from his eyes. He was really furious. At this moment, the sinful demonic dragon had already unleashed all of his aura. It was like a supreme mountain that made people unable to breathe. The one who felt it the most was Taitsong Linkong. Originally, he felt that he could not resist the sinful demonic dragon's aura. But now, the sinful demonic dragon had completely unleashed his aura. Only then did Taitsong Linkong feel the terror of the sinful demonic dragon. Similarly, even Pang Lijuan and Pang Liren, who were protected by Yang Hongwu, felt tremendous pressure at this moment. The two women were protected in the Heavenly Palace of Destruction. The Heavenly Palace of Destruction had already become the eye of the Great Formation. The pressure it endured was less than 1% of the true pressure. Even so, the two women felt the terror of the pressure. At this moment, the two women's eyes were filled with endless worry. Can Big Brother Yang block it? That demonic dragon's strength is too terrifying. Even Taitsong Linkong is far from being his opponent, Pang Liren murmured. Don't worry. We have to believe in Big Brother Yang. We have to believe that he can do it, Pang Lijuan said. Although she said that, her hand was still tightly gripping Pang Liren's hand. She did not loosen her grip at all. Instead, her grip became tighter and tighter. Her palms were all sweaty. From this point, it was enough to see how nervous the two women were. In contrast to their nervousness and worry, Yang Hongwu himself was incomparably calm and collected. You old loach. Do you only know how to put on an act to scare people? Yang Hongwu said. His tone was light and his expression was relaxed. He didn't seem to be under any pressure at all. This surprised the evil demon dragon. He had already unleashed his peak strength. If it was outside, even a divine emperor expert would be suppressed to death by such pressure. Even though the pressure was weakened countless times in Yang Hongwu's formation world, it was still very terrifying. It was far from what a 5th-layer divine monarch expert could withstand. Even that kid from the Taitsong Dragon Clan had already done so. Even Taitsong Linkong, who was pressed to the ground, could not speak. However, Yang Hongwu did not seem to be affected at all. How could he not be shocked? Yang Hongwu's words made the evil demonic dragon's momentum suddenly loosen. He had indeed used a secret technique to erupt with a pressure that exceeded his current strength. That was his strength when he was at his peak. But now his strength was less than 100%. The powerful aura that he had just erupted with was only increased by his special secret technique. He wanted to subdue Yang Hongwu so that he could completely defeat Yang Hongwu. Chapter 1661. It was a slap in the face. The aura that Yang Hongwu unleashed had completely overwhelmed the Sin demonic dragon. Since you unleashed such a powerful aura, I'll unleash an even more powerful and overbearing aura. The Sin demonic dragon's face turned pale. The powerful aura, especially the terrifying murderous aura, made him unable to withstand it. His body couldn't help but tremble. Little bastard, you're pretty good. You actually have so many tricks up your sleeves. However, all of these are useless. In the face of true power, all schemes and schemes are nothing. As the Sin demonic dragon spoke, his huge body moved again. He waved his sharp claws and clawed at Yang Hongwu. Go! The sharp claws seemed like they were going to tear Yang Hongwu into pieces. Good timing. Yang Hongwu shouted. His body flickered and a battle saber appeared in his hand. That battle saber was the Hongmeng battle saber. There were dragons circling around the battle saber. The predecessor of the Hongmeng battle saber was the Nine Dragons battle saber. The battle saber contained the powerful power of the dragon soul. Dragons had a terrifying deterrence. As the battle saber was waved, a domineering dragon roar could be heard. The entire space was shrouded by the endless saber shadows. The target of the saber shadows was the Sin demonic dragon's huge body. The saber chief fell on the Sin demonic dragon's body, and a crisp collision sound was heard. Lightning burst out and sparks splattered everywhere. It was the result of the collision between the Hongmeng battle saber and the Sin demonic dragon. The Sin demonic dragon was bombarded by the battle saber. He was in great pain and screamed in pain. It could be seen that Yang Hongwu's attack had caused quite a lot of damage to him. Yang Hongwu became fiercer as he fought. In the space of the formation, Yang Hongwu's power was magnified infinitely. On the other hand, the Sin demonic dragon was suppressed. In addition, Yang Hongwu was constantly unleashing the power of the devouring furnace. He was constantly extracting the power of the void to strengthen himself. On the other hand, the Sin demonic dragon was constantly being exhausted. One was getting weaker while the other was getting stronger. Yang Hongwu's strength was getting stronger. Boom! With a muffled sound, the Sin demon dragon was sent flying. Yang Hongwu's body shook, and his aura rose again. His cultivation had broken through. With this, Yang Hongwu's cultivation finally broke through a realm, recovering to the 6th level Divine Lord realm. Originally, Yang Hongwu had already reached the 6th level Divine Lord realm long ago. However, because he entered the special space in Shepherding Town and received some guidance from Elder Pang, Yang Hongwu's cultivation realm was suppressed. However, his combat power received a great increase. At this time, because Yang Hongwu was continuously refining and absorbing the spiritual energy inside the array formation space, his cultivation realm recovered to 6th level Divine Lord once more. Recovering from the 5th level Divine Lord realm to the 6th level Divine Lord realm, this was much longer than the time he used to break through previously. The energy obtained was also much more. Of course, compared to before, his combat power had also increased by a lot. Little bastard, you're quite capable. At this time, the Sin demon dragon transformed into a human figure. This was the first time he transformed into a human figure when facing Yang Hongwu. Previously, it was his original body. Logically speaking, his original body was stronger. However, in reality, that was not the case. If it was outside, his original body's strength would be stronger. However, in here, his original body's strength was greatly suppressed. After all, Yang Hongwu had 2 dragon treasures in his hands. One was the Dragon Gate, and the other was the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. These 2 treasures had a very strong suppression on the dragons. It suppressed the cultivation of the dragons to the greatest extent, preventing them from unleashing their true strength. However, if the Sin demon dragon appeared in the form of a human and fought with Yang Hongwu, the suppression on his cultivation would be reduced by a lot. Yang Hongwu naturally saw through this. Hence, when he saw the Sin demon dragon transforming into a human figure, his face turned slightly solemn. This was because Yang Hongwu could clearly feel that the Sin demon dragon's strength and aura had more than doubled compared to before. I'm going to use my true strength now. Little bastard, prepare to die. The Sin demon dragon shouted, and a long spear appeared in his hand. This was the Sin demon dragon's Dragon Devourer spear. This Dragon Devourer spear was also a supreme treasure. Back then, the Sin demon dragon had relied on this spear to kill countless experts. This spear was also suppressed and did not reach its peak strength. However, it was still very terrifying in the hands of the Sin demon dragon. It was definitely much stronger than the Dragon Transformation Pagoda and Dragon Gate in Yang Hongwu's hands. Even if the two supreme treasures were used together, they might not be able to withstand the power of the Dragon Devourer's spear. Yang Hongwu could feel the terrifying threat that the long spear was emitting. It was a supreme killing intent and a terrifying destructive power. Yang Hongwu could clearly feel the ferocious aura that was contained in the Dragon Devourer's spear. He also knew that this spear had killed countless experts and was stained with the blood, qi, and souls of countless experts. For some special weapons that could grow, the more they killed, the more terrifying they would grow. This was especially true for supreme treasures of the demonic path. This Dragon Devourer's spear was exactly the same. Although Yang Hongwu was not a top-notch blacksmith, he had his own understanding of the art of blacksmithing. This Dragon Devourer's spear was definitely not simple. It was probably refined and improved by the Sin Demon Dragon step by step. The Dragon Devourer's spear was extremely compatible with the Sin Demon Dragon. It could be said that this Dragon Devourer's spear was a part of the Sin Demon Dragon's body. With his Dharma Eye of Annihilation, Yang Hongwu could see that the body of the Dragon Devourer's spear had nurtured a small world. This small world contained supreme, ferocious aura. Of course, more importantly, it contained the blood, qi, and resentment of the experts that were killed by the Dragon Devourer's spear. Even the remnant souls of some experts were present. Demonic Dragon Devourer's spear. The Sin Demon Dragon pierced the spear, aiming at Yang Hongwu's heart. If this attack hit, Yang Hongwu would be severely injured even if he did not die. Yang Hongwu's face was extremely solemn. He knew that this spear was most likely a fatal attack from the Sin Demon Dragon. "Come on," Yang Hongwu shouted softly. His aura changed again. The power of the entire array continued to fuse into Yang Hongwu's body. He turned into a giant. His entire body emitted a golden light, as if he was an invincible god of war. Everything in the world was under his control. He slashed out with his blade. This slash made the world tremble. In front of this slash, even the myriad of worlds would lose their color. This saber strike was terrifying to the extreme. Chapter 1662. The moment the Sin Demonic Dragon's body was cut off, a ray of light flew out from his body. It was the soul of the Sin Demonic Dragon. However, how could Yang Hongwu let it escape? With a thought, he reached out his hand and grabbed the soul in his hand. Seeing this scene, Taitsong Linkhong was stunned. It was simply unimaginable. The Sin Demonic Dragon was such a terrifying existence. However, he was killed by Yang Hongwu with a single slash. It was undeniable that Yang Hongwu's slash was extremely overbearing. It was not something that an ordinary person could withstand. However, was the Sin Demonic Dragon really that weak? He could not even withstand a single slash from Yang Hongwu? Was the Sin Demonic Dragon really the unrivaled, unparalleled demon in the legends? Could it be that it was just a clone? If that was the case, it would not be surprising. After all, the strength of the original body was extremely overbearing. It was highly possible for a clone to be killed. At this moment, Taitsong Linkhong was more willing to believe that what Yang Hongwu killed was just the clone of the Sin Demonic Dragon. "Little bastard, I did not expect that you would be so ruthless in your schemes and hide so well. You even have the karmic fire of the Red Lotus." The soul of the Sin Demonic Dragon was caught by Yang Hongwu. He looked at Yang Hongwu furiously. He was really careless this time. He originally thought that Yang Hongwu wanted to defeat him in a single move. Therefore, he went all out. After all, they were in Yang Hongwu's formation world. He did not dare to hold back. However, he did not expect that Yang Hongwu had already used a soul attack the moment he was about to collide with Yang Hongwu. Not only that, he also unleashed the karmic fire of the Red Lotus. The karmic fire of the Red Lotus was the reason why he was defeated. The moment the karmic fire of the Red Lotus touched him, the karmic fire of the Sin Demonic Dragon's soul was ignited. The karmic fire of the Red Lotus ignited the karmic fire of the Sin Demonic Dragon's soul, causing him great damage. This also caused the power of his spear to be greatly reduced. He could not even unleash 30% of his peak power. As a result, he was unable to block Yang Hongwu's overbearing strike. However, there was no turning back now. It was too late for regrets. Yang Hongwu was merely a 6th-level divine Lord martial artist. Furthermore, he just advanced up, but the trump cards in his hands were far too many. Furthermore, the mystic art that he cultivated was also very terrifying. His calculations were even more astonishing. He was not inferior to those old foxes who had lived for millions of years. Do you have any last words? Yang Hongwu looked at the soul of the Sin Demon Dragon that he had trapped. He wasn't afraid of the Sin Demonic Dragon escaping. Now, the Sin Demonic Dragon's soul couldn't escape. This was his formation space, and he had absolute control over it. Moreover, the Sin Demonic Dragon's soul was less than 1% of its original. After all, the karmic fire of the Red Lotus was no joke. It was already very powerful for the Sin Demonic Dragon to be able to survive under the burning of the karmic fire of the Red Lotus. If it was someone else, such as Taitsong Linkong, his soul wouldn't be able to survive under the burning of the karmic fire of the Red Lotus. Haha, little beast, you can't kill me. I will come and take revenge on you one day. After saying that, the Sin Demonic Dragon's soul actually burned itself and dissipated. Yang Hongwu frowned. Things were indeed not that simple. This was probably not the original body of the Sin Demonic Dragon. Perhaps the Sin Demonic Dragon had left behind some mystic art that could resurrect him. This wasn't strange. Those old foxes who had lived for millions of years, or even those old foxes who had lived for even longer, which one of them didn't leave behind a trump card? Yang Hongwu was very clear that with his current strength, he still couldn't kill the original body of the Sin Demonic Dragon by using the Soul Primordial Spirit Incarnation as a medium. After all, he was still too weak. Moreover, Yang Hongwu guessed that if this was just the incarnation of the Sin Demonic Dragon, then his original body strength would be even more terrifying. You, Yang Hongwu, you're really too powerful. I didn't expect that you could even kill the Sin Demonic Dragon. You're indeed worthy of being a peerless sky pride of the Taitsong dragons, comparable to the Taitsong dragon god. At this moment, Taitsong Linkong looked at Yang Hongwu and said, "It's useless to flatter and flatter me." Yang Hongwu turned his head to look at Taitsong Linkong and said, "You want me to let you go? That's impossible." "That's right, Brother Yang. You can't let this bastard go. He used us to threaten you before. You can't let him go." Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, Pang Liren and Pang Lijuan also recovered from the shock of Yang Hongwu's divine might. They gnashed their teeth at Taitsong Linkong. After all, the two women had almost become bait for Taitsong Linkong to kill Yang Hongwu. If it wasn't for Yang Hongwu's valiant strength and various means, Yang Hongwu would have been killed because the two of them had become Taitsong Linkong's hostages. Therefore, the two women hated Taitsong Linkong to the bone. Once a woman held a grudge, it was very terrifying. "Yang Hongwu, you can't do anything to me. You can't kill me. I am the most outstanding genius of the Taitsong dragons. My status in the Taitsong dragons is extremely high. Moreover, I am in control of the Taitsong Divine Palace. If you kill me, you will lose control of the Taitsong Divine Palace. The Taitsong Divine Palace is the trump card left behind by the Taitsong Dragon God. It contains supreme power. Once it loses control, it will erupt with a power that can destroy the world. You will never be able to withstand it." Taitsong Linkong was startled. He was very worried that Yang Hongwu would attack him. After all, he had wanted to kill Yang Hongwu before. Even the evil demonic dragon was summoned by him to deal with Yang Hongwu. Even though the evil demonic dragon was only a clone, its strength was extremely terrifying. Taitsong Linkong was definitely not a match for it. However, such a terrifying and powerful expert had died in the hands of Yang Hongwu. According to the evil demonic dragon, Yang Hongwu's trump card was far more than what he had seen. The reason why Yang Hongwu was able to kill the evil demonic dragon was because of those invisible trump cards in Yang Hongwu's hands. It was because of the unknown that it was the scariest. He did not dare to imagine what kind of trump card could be used to kill a terrifying expert like the sinful demonic dragon without making a sound. Taitsong Linkong asked himself. Compared to the evil demonic dragon, he was much weaker. If even the evil demonic dragon couldn't resist, how could he resist? That was obvious. Chapter 1663. Are you threatening me? Yang Hongwu sneered. Go ahead and try. No matter what, you will die today. How could Yang Hongwu possibly let someone like Taitsong Linkong, who was extremely ambitious and capricious, go? If such a person were to be let go, he would be like a poisonous snake hiding in the dark. He would absolutely not let Yang Hongwu go. He would definitely find an opportunity to retaliate. Yang Hongwu was not so foolish as to leave behind hidden dangers for himself. Thus, from the very beginning, Yang Hongwu did not plan to let Taitsong Linkong go. Yang Hongwu, are you determined to go against me? Taitsong Linkong's face sunk. He had a bad premonition in his heart. This Yang Hongwu was actually going to kill him regardless of everything. This caused Taitsong Linkong to be extremely furious, but also extremely frightened and afraid. For merely 2 women, but giving up on a great future? For a good future, you're giving up on a supreme treasure that you can obtain. Is this worth it? You damn bastard. Even at a time like this, you still dare to sow dissension. Big brother Yang Hongwu, you must not let him die too easily. Pang Liren was extremely furious when she heard that, and said to Yang Hongwu, Don't worry. Yang Hongwu nodded. With a wave of his hand, a lump of flame emerged from his palm. This lump of flame was like a jumping little spirit. It was very cute. However, when Taitsong Linkong saw this lump of flame, his expression greatly changed. This flame was no ordinary flame. It was the legendary red lotus fire. With Taitsong Linkong's eyesight, how could he not be able to tell? When the flame approached him, Taitsong Linkong felt that even his soul was trembling. The red lotus fire could burn karma. Thus, how could the karma on Taitsong Linkong's body be small? For Taitsong Linkong to be able to obtain his current status and strength, the amount of evil he had done was definitely not small. If this red lotus fire were to land on his body, it would definitely burn him into dregs or even dust. Yang Hongwu, you can't do this to me. If you kill me, you will also die. These 2 women will also be buried with you. Seeing the red lotus karmic fire getting closer and closer, Taitsong Linkong immediately shouted, If you let me go, I can give you the Taitsong Sacred Palace, Taitsong Long, God's legacy. There's no need. Besides, I can get these things by killing you. How could Yang Hongwu be so easily convinced? Wait, big brother Yang. This Taitsong Divine Hall is a supreme treasure. Also, if big brother Yang can obtain the inheritance of the Taitsong Dragon God, your strength will definitely increase greatly. If what he said is true, then it is not impossible to spare his life. At this time, Pang Lijuan spoke up. He said, His words cannot be trusted. Pang Liren shook her head. If the inheritance of the Taitsong Dragon God is so easy to obtain, he would not have fallen to such a state. However, what if what he said is true? Pang Lijuan said, After all, it is a supreme treasure. If Big Brother Yang can obtain it, it'll be beneficial for Big Brother Yang's cultivation to increase. As for this guy's life, if it can be exchanged for such an opportunity, even if it is sparing his life, it is worth it. What? Yes. This lady is right. Killing me will not bring you any benefits. However, if you don't kill me, you will be able to obtain a supreme treasure and the inheritance of the Taitsong Dragon God. This is simply a great thing. Besides, if you don't kill me, you won't lose anything, right? Hearing Pang Lijuan's words, Taitsong Linkong quickly agreed. He did not want to die. Originally, he thought that he would definitely die. However, when he heard Pang Lijuan pleading for him, how could he not be happy? Yang Hongwu was too powerful. Although he controlled a part of the power of the Taitsong Divine Hall, in fact, he could not unleash the full power of the Taitsong Divine Hall. If he could, he would have unleashed it when he faced the powerful attack of the sinful demon dragon. In fact, he was already at the end of his rope. He did not have the strength to resist at all. At this moment, Taitsong Linkong was severely injured. The power that he could unleash was not even comparable to an ordinary Great Emperor Realm cultivator, let alone unleashing the power of the Taitsong Divine Hall to deal with Yang Hongwu. Therefore, everything that he did before was just a bluff. His words can't be trusted. This kind of person doesn't speak the truth. Moreover, if I let him go, he will definitely make trouble for us in the future. At that time, if you are in danger, it will be too late for regrets. Therefore, it's better to kill him. As for the supreme treasure, it's better to kill him. As for the inheritance, I don't care about it. Yang Hongwu smiled and said, "For your safety, I still have to kill him. After all, compared to your safety, nothing else is worth mentioning." The two women were touched when they heard that. However, Taitsong Linkong was dumbfounded. He did not expect Yang Hongwu to have such a strong intention to kill him. "Don't kill me, don't kill me. I can give you all my treasures and become your servant. I will work for you as long as you don't kill me." At this moment, Taitsong Linkong immediately knelt down. He really did not want to die. However, Yang Hongwu did not pay any attention to his begging. The red lotus karmic fire in his hand instantly shot out and landed on Taitsong Linkong's body. In the next moment, Taitsong Linkong let out a miserable shriek. He kept rolling on the ground and hugging his head. That ball of flame directly entered his soul and incinerated it. "Spare me, spare me." Taitsong Linkong, who was rolling on the ground, kept begging for mercy. His body also changed and turned into a giant dragon again. However, even if he turned into a giant dragon and returned to his original body, he could not resist the burning of the red lotus karmic fire. Yang Hongwu pretended not to hear Taitsong Linkong's begging. He slashed with the grand mist saber in his hand. With a flash of the saber, Taitsong Linkong's head was chopped off. Blood instantly sprayed on the ground. A ray of light flew out from his body. That was Taitsong Linkong's soul. However, Taitsong Linkong's dragon soul was still burning. The red lotus karmic fire did not extinguish because of that. Taitsong Linkong endured the pain and appeared in front of Yang Hongwu. He loudly begged Yang Hongwu for mercy. "Spare me, spare me." His physical body was killed, and only his dragon soul was left. He knew very well that if he continued to be burned by the karmic fire, he would really die. He would not even have the chance to reincarnate. Chapter 1664. There's no need. I don't need such a slave. Yang Hongwu's eyes were still extremely sharp, not giving Taitsong Linkong the slightest bit of hope. Hearing this, Taitsong Linkong knew that he would definitely die this time. There was no hope. He looked at Yang Hongwu with eyes full of resentment. "Little bastard, you will die a horrible death. I curse you." After knowing that he was going to die, Taitsong Linkong cursed Yang Hongwu viciously. Traces of curse power burst out and flew towards Yang Hongwu. The entire Taitsong Divine Palace also burst out with a terrifying power. This power was very strong. It was released as if it wanted to completely destroy the people in the Divine Palace. The statue of Taitsong Dragon God, burst out with an intense light. At this moment, the entire space seemed to be about to collapse. "Die with me." After Taitsong Linkong's final words, his soul dissipated into ashes. Taitsong Linkong also died. This made Yang Hongwu extremely depressed. He used the Dharma Eye of Annihilation as the eye of heavenly Tao of this formation world to kill two people. One was the sinful demon dragon, and the other was Taitsong Linkong. However, he did not obtain much of the world's origin energy. This made Yang Hongwu very speechless. Not only did he not obtain much benefit, but he also needed power to suppress this divine palace. This Taitsong Divine Palace was indeed a supreme treasure. The power that erupted was also not to be underestimated. If it fully erupted, it would not be weaker than his real dragon transformation pagoda and dragon gate. Fortunately, Yang Hongwu's array formation hadn't been removed yet. Otherwise, Yang Hongwu wouldn't have had the confidence to withstand the impact of this berserk energy. "Big brother Yang, what should we do now? This power is too terrifying. I can feel that it is filled with a destructive power. If this formation is unable to withstand it, I'm afraid that we will all die here." Pang Liren looked at the terrifying power outside, and her expression changed. Pang Lijuan was also very worried. However, Pang Lijuan was much calmer than Pang Liren. "Big brother Yang will definitely have a way," she said. Yang Hongwu nodded and said, "Don't worry, I have a way to deal with this energy shock. You guys stay here, I'll go out and solve this problem. Big brother Yang, you have to be careful. If you can't do it, come back immediately. Pang Liren and Pang Li Juan said in unison. It's fine. After saying that, Yang Hongwu left the formation in a flash and appeared in the main hall. The moment he left the formation and entered the Taiyisong sacred hall, Yang Hongwu felt an overbearing and boundless power rushing towards him. This power seemed to want to crush Yang Hongwu. Damn it, this power is indeed overbearing and terrifying. As expected of the legendary dragon, God Taitsong's power. Yang Hongwu could feel the terrifying pressure and madly operated the devouring furnace, an immortal dragon body. The devouring furnace madly devoured the surrounding energy while the immortal dragon body made use of it. He used a violent power to temper his body. Yang Hongwu's body had already reached its limit. It was very difficult to improve it. The two women in the formation world watched as Yang Hongwu endured the tremendous pressure. His face became distorted because of the terrifying power. The two women were very worried. Break through for me, Yang Hongwu roared. His aura rose again, and his cultivation realm rose by another level. He rose from the 6th level Divine Lord realm to the 7th level Divine Lord realm. This time, he rose by another level. Such a cultivation speed was really shocking. He broke through. That's amazing. Big brother Yang actually broke through another realm under such pressure. The two women were originally very worried. But when they saw Yang Hongwu's cultivation rise again and break through again, their eyes widened. He was too powerful. No one could compare to such a cultivation speed. One had to know that Yang Hongwu had just broken through a realm. How long had it been since then? He rose by another realm. It was too terrifying and appalling. It's just a temple. You want to suppress me and destroy me? You must be dreaming. Yang Hongwu snorted coldly and looked at the statue not far away. That statue was very similar to him. It was as if they had been carved out of the same appearance. However, that statue actually moved and attacked him. This made Yang Hongwu have a feeling of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. He had a feeling that he was fighting with himself. It's just a statue. Break for me. Yang Hongwu suddenly threw out a punch. This punch was incomparably domineering. It contained Yang Hongwu's majestic magic power and the power of the Tao of destruction. The statue also threw out a punch. Its action was exactly the same as Yang Hongwu's. This made Yang Hongwu even more stunned. The two fist forces collided, instantly stirring up a terrifying storm. This terrifying storm erupted all of a sudden, causing the things in the hall to be in a mess. However, it did not destroy the things in the hall. It was as if there was an invisible force and a strong seal protecting these things. Yang Hongwu was bewildered. The energy in this temple was extremely domineering. The power that burst out from his punch was also relatively terrifying. But the things in this temple, such as the tables and chairs, were not damaged in the slightest. This also made Yang Hongwu extremely shocked. The seal here was extremely strange. Furthermore, Yang Hongwu could faintly sense that the power of this statue was not fully released. Within it, there was a terrifying power of destruction. If this power were to truly erupt, he might not be able to withstand it. Just as Yang Hongwu was thinking, the statue attacked once again. This time, the statue changed its fist into a finger. This finger attack caused the void to collapse, and a terrifying hole appeared. This finger attack was so terrifying that it pierced through the void directly. Domineering. Too domineering. Too domineering. Yang Hongwu asked himself. He knew that he would definitely not be able to unleash such a terrifying finger attack. The power contained in this finger attack was already beyond Yang Hongwu's imagination. It was definitely not something that he could withstand. Dodge. He could only dodge. If he was hit, even if he did not die, he would be seriously injured. Void travel. Yang Hongwu did not hesitate. He wanted to use the space technique to avoid this terrifying attack. Chapter 1665. Am I going to die here today? Yang Hongwu was unwilling, but he was helpless in the face of the statue's attack because he couldn't move at all. He could only watch the statue's finger poke between his eyebrows. Big brother Yang. Big Brother Yang dodged quickly. Seeing this scene, Pang Liren and Pang Li Juan were even more anxious. They wished that they could block that terrifying attack in place of Yang Hongwu. I didn't expect that I would actually die in the hands of a statue. Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly in his heart and closed his eyes. That finger poked between Yang Hongwu's eyebrows. Yang Hongwu thought that he was dead for sure. However, to his surprise, this finger didn't kill him. Instead, it transmitted a vast amount of information into his mind. This vast amount of information made Yang Hongwu feel like his mind was about to explode. At the same time, the power of the entire statue continuously poured into Yang Hongwu's body, continuously increasing his cultivation. From the 6th level Divine Lord Realm to the 7th level Divine Lord Realm, then to the 8th level Divine Lord Realm. It only stopped when he reached the peak of the 8th level Divine Lord Realm. And in the information transmitted by the statue, there was a cultivation method. This cultivation method was the Azure Dragon Prison Suppression Art. With the power of the ancient Azure Dragon, it suppressed the demons in the Avicii Purgatory. The Avicii Purgatory was the most terrifying existence in the legendary land of exile. The ones suppressed, they were the most terrifying existences. Every one of them was incomparably powerful. The weakest one was comparable to the sinful demonic dragon. And this dragon god Taitsong obtained the inheritance of the Azure Dragon Prison Suppression Art and became the lord of the Avicii Purgatory, suppressing countless demons in the Avicii Purgatory. As for the sinful demonic dragon, it was captured by dragon god Taitsong back then and suppressed in the Avicii Purgatory. After an unknown period of time, Yang Hongwu opened his eyes. Looking at the worried looks of the two women, Yang Hongwu waved his hand and released the two women. The array was also collected by Yang Hongwu. Big Brother Yang, are you all right? Pang Liren asked. Yang Hongwu shook his head. I'm fine. On the contrary, I profited from a disaster this time. I didn't expect that this statue actually has the inheritance of Dragon God Taitsong. Big Brother Yang, you're saying that you obtained the inheritance of the legendary dragon God Taitsong? Pang Li Juan looked at Yang Hongwu with a look of surprise. Yang Hongwu nodded and said, Brother Yang to Big Brother Yang. This I don't know. Yang Hongwu shook his head. Although he had obtained the inheritance of Dragon God Taitsong, he didn't know much about the Banished Land and the Avicii Purgatory. However, there was a way to enter the Banished Land and the Avicii Purgatory. However, Yang Hongwu wasn't stupid enough to go to the Banished Land and the Avicii Purgatory now. That was simply courting death. After all, in the Avicii Purgatory, even the weakest was at the same level as the Sin Fiend Dragon. Being able to kill the Sin Fiend Dragon this time was entirely due to luck. Furthermore, the Sin Fiend Dragon that he killed was only a clone. This showed how powerful the Sin Fiend Dragon was. The weakest in the Avicii Purgatory was at the same level as the sinful Demon Dragon. Then, how terrifying would the powerhouses there be? With his current cultivation, he would probably be blown to death if he went there. Where are we going now? Pang Liren asked. Let's leave this place first, Yang Hongwu said. That's great. We can finally leave this godforsaken place, Pang Liren said in surprise. From Shepherding Town to the Taitsong Divine Hall, the two women had experienced something that they hadn't experienced in the past 10 years. Although there were dangers everywhere, even life and death crises, they were all daunting but not dangerous. This made the two women even more excited. Both of them still had the spirit of adventure and pursuit of excitement in their bones. They even had a murderous temperament. After all, the two women were the reincarnation of the supreme evil weapon spirit. Although the evil and demonic nature had been eliminated, the murderous nature in their souls couldn't be concealed and could not be completely eliminated. In fact, the evil and demonic nature would be stimulated when they encountered special circumstances. Brother Yang, can you take the Taitsong Divine Hall? Didn't Taitsong Linkong say that the Taitsong Divine Hall is a treasure? Pang Li Juan asked. I can't take it. Yang Hongwu shook his head. Although the Taitsong Divine Hall was a supreme treasure, Yang Hongwu couldn't take it. The Taitsong Divine Hall was the core of a formation. If he took the Taitsong Divine Hall, it would cause a terrible disaster. As for what kind of disaster it would be, Yang Hongwu didn't know. He didn't get any more detailed information from the message that the statue transmitted to him. Moreover, Yang Hongwu didn't have the strength or ability to take the Divine Hall away. However, Yang Hongwu was getting more and more curious. What was going on in the deity plane? If the deity plane was a part of the inner world of the life seal, how could there be something like the Taitsong Divine Hall? Taitsong Divine Hall, Avicii Purgatory, Taitsong Dragon God. These didn't seem to be inferior to the life seal. How could there be such a terrifying existence in the inner world of the life seal? If that was really the case, then how powerful and terrifying was the original owner of the life seal? Perhaps the deity plane was just a small part of the inner world of the life seal. It was just the tip of the iceberg. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu's heart was extremely depressed. Every time he thought that he was close to the truth. But as his strength increased and he learned more, he found that the situation and the information he knew were still too little. He was like an ignorant child. The more he learned, the more he became ignorant. He found himself ignorant. At this moment, Yang Hongwu was in such a state. What? My cultivation is too weak. I can't do it. Unless my cultivation reaches the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. Maybe I can take the Divine Hall and refine it. Yang Hongwu sighed. With Brother Yang's cultivation speed, it won't be difficult for you to reach the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. I believe you will reach this realm soon. Pang Li Juan said with a smile. Anyway, if Brother Yang can't take the Divine Hall, others won't be able to either. Chapter 1666. After being teleported out, Yang Hongwu frowned slightly. This was not a place he knew. It was a mountain peak. On top of the mountain peak, there were many majestic palaces. This place is so beautiful. These palaces are really magnificent. Pang Li Juan and Pang Liren looked at the scenery in front of them and were overjoyed. Big Brother Yang, is this where you live? Hearing the two girls' words, Yang Hongwu smiled bitterly and shook his head. No, I don't know where this place is. However, if you like it here, then we can live here in the future. Really? Pang Liren was surprised. Of course. Yang Hongwu smiled and pinched her nose. When has your big brother Yang ever lied to you? That's true. Pang Liren nodded. Okay, let me see what this place is. Yang Hongwu activated his eye technique and scanned the surroundings. Azure Dragon Mountain. This was Azure Dragon Mountain. It seemed that it was related to the Taitsong Dragon God. Perhaps this was the territory of the Taitsong dragons. After all, the Taitsong Shrine was here. It was normal for the Taitsong dragons to be here. Big Brother Yang, someone is coming. Pang Li Juan said. Yang Hongwu nodded. I see. Let's go and ask. Yang Hongwu pulled the two girls up and disappeared. In the next moment, the three of them appeared beside a young man. After Yang Hongwu put down the two girls, he appeared in front of the young man and grabbed him by the neck. Don't scream, or I'll kill you, Yang Hongwu said coldly. Yang Hongwu did not want to provoke the experts who were trying to kill him. In this Azure Dragon Mountain, Yang Hongwu felt several powerful and overbearing auras. He did not expect that there would be so many experts here. If it was the Taitsong dragons, it would not be surprising. After all, the Taitsong dragons were one of the ancient dragons. They were extremely powerful. Their overall strength was not weaker than the La Liga dragons. It could even be said that the Taitsong dragons were much stronger than the La Liga dragons. You, who are you? The young man who was caught by Yang Hongwu was terrified. He had never seen this person before. Moreover, this person was accompanied by two unknown women. These two women were obviously not from the Dragon Clan. However, this young man was emitting a terrifying pressure from his body, bloodline and soul pressure. Clearly, his bloodline power was much stronger than his own. In fact, he didn't even feel such a terrifying bloodline pressure from the Dragon Emperor. He didn't dare to shout loudly, afraid that the other party would kill him directly. Who I am is not important. What is important is that you answer my question. If your answer does not satisfy me, then I will kill you, Yang Hongwu said softly. Sir, what do you want to ask? He asked. What is this place? Yang Hongwu asked. Azure Dragon Mountain. Sir, this is Azure Dragon Mountain. What does it have to do with the Taitsong dragons? Yang Hongwu asked. Is this the ancestral land of the Taitsong dragons? Yes, sir. This is the ancestral land of the Taitsong dragons in the Divine Dominion. The youth nodded and answered. The ancestral land of the Taitsong dragons in the Divine Dominion. So, can this place be connected to other planes? Yang Hongwu looked at the youth. It seems that you know a lot. Your status among the Taitsong dragons should not be low. What is your name? What is the status of the Taitsong dragons? My name is Taitsong Shanshan. I am the alchemy apprentice of the Great Elder. Taitsong Shanshan said. I heard this from the Great Elder. Great Elder? Yang Hongwu asked again. Do you know Taitsong Linkong? Of course I know Taitsong Linkong. He is the most outstanding genius of our Taitsong dragons in the Divine Dominion. He entered the Azure Dragon Temple 10,000 years ago, but since then, he has never appeared again. Sir, how do you know? Taitsong Shanshan asked. Could it be that Sir is Taitsong Linkong? Taitsong Shanshan took a closer look at Yang Hongwu's appearance and suddenly widened his eyes in disbelief. This appearance was exactly the same as the appearance of the Taitsong Dragon God in the Ancestral Hall. It was rumored that Taitsong Linkong and the Taitsong Dragon God looked almost the same. The person in front of him and the statue of the ancestor were also the same. They were exactly the same, just dressed differently. Yes, the man in front of him must be Taitsong Linkong. No. Yang Hongwu shook his head. You are overthinking. I am not Taitsong Linkong. Sir, you're not Taitsong Linkong? Could it be that Sir came from another spatial world? From the Taitsong Dragon world? Perhaps only the Taitsong Dragon world had such a pure bloodline power that could cause such a terrifying suppression. Taitsong Shanshan could feel that the person in front of him was using force and blood directly. The pressure of the bloodline could kill him. It was very terrifying. To have such a powerful bloodline power, there was no other possibility other than coming from the Taitsong Dragon world. Are you the one asking me? Let me ask you. I think you don't want to live anymore, right? Yang Hongwu said coldly. Looking at Yang Hongwu's eyes that were filled with killing intent, Taitsong Shanshan was shocked. He quickly shook his head and said, Sir, you are the one asking. What do you want to know? I know, but I won't say. He didn't want to die. Moreover, if he could become the servant of this Sir in front of him, he would definitely have a bright future. Once he became this Sir's servant and was valued by him, even the Great Elder and the Patriarch would have to curry favor with him in the future. Thinking of this, Taitsong Shanshan was delighted. How many Taitsong dragons are there in the domain of the gods now? Yang Hongwu asked. If he could subdue the Taitsong dragon clan, it would be very helpful to his development in the realm of the gods, especially when dealing with Zetian. It would be a great help. After all, Zetian's strength was already very terrifying. He didn't know what his real cultivation was. Moreover, Zetian was definitely not alone. If he was alone, he wouldn't be able to deal with Zetian at all. Even before he could meet Zetian, he would probably be exhausted by his subordinates. Therefore, if he really wanted to deal with Zetian, he needed to organize a powerful force. The dragons were Yang Hongwu's first choice. As for the other forces, it would be best if he could control them. In the domain of the gods, in addition to our Azure Dragon Mountain, there is also a force on Mount Taikuan. Taitsong Shanshan said. However, the force on Mount Taikuan is much weaker. The two forces together have a total of 20,000 people. How many of them are at the Divine Emperor realm? Yang Hongwu asked. Is there anyone who has surpassed the Divine Emperor realm? Chapter 1667. I don't know. Taitsong Shanshan shook his head. Aren't you the Great Elder's elixir apprentice? How come you don't even know this? Yang Hongwu frowned and was somewhat dissatisfied. This guy, as the Great Elder's elixir apprentice, didn't even know this. Yang Hongwu didn't believe it. Not to mention the Great Elder's elixir apprentice. Any Taitsong Dragon Clan member would know about this. The people of the clan probably knew a thing or two about it. After all, there weren't many godly emperors, there were only a few of them. Seeing Yang Hongwu getting angry, Taitsong Shanshan was frightened and hurriedly explained, My lord, it's not that I don't want to tell you, but I really don't know. I've been with the Great Elder since I was a child. I don't know about other things. There are only 6 elders in the entire Tight Song Dragons. Nobody knows how strong the Great Elder is. Nobody knows how strong he is. I don't know whether he's a divine emperor or not," said Lin Feng. Looking at this guy's cowardly appearance, Yang Hongwu couldn't help shaking his head. This guy didn't have the guts to lie to him. Perhaps he really didn't know. However, Yang Hongwu was somewhat surprised that there were only 6 elders in the Tight Song Dragons. What exactly was the cultivation level of an elder? Divine Emperor Realm? Peak Divine Emperor Realm? Half-step Divine Emperor Realm? These are all possible. However, if there were 6 or more divine emperors in the Tight Song Dragons in the deity domain, it would be too terrifying. Which one of the divine emperors wasn't an overlord in the deity domain? In fact, none of the masters of the 13 divine regions on the surface were actually at the divine emperor realm. Of course, if Yang Hongwu had just arrived in the deity domain, he might have thought that the overlords of the 13 deity domains were half-step divine emperors. But now, Yang Hongwu didn't have such an idea. It would be strange if the overlords of the 13 deity domains were not at the divine emperor realm. Forget it. I won't make things difficult for you. Yang Hongwu sighed. This guy was just a small alchemy apprentice. It was normal that he didn't know much. After all, this guy was still young. It wasn't strange that he didn't know many things. Moreover, every major force had many trump cards. Only with the presence of the Patriarch would the sect master know that this was very common. "Thank you, my lord. Thank you, my lord," Taitsong Shanshan hurriedly said, with a flattering look, making Yang Hongwu speechless. This guy's aptitude wasn't too bad, but his cultivation wasn't that good. He probably put all his intelligence into flattery. "How many people are in Azure Dragon Mountain right now?" Yang Hongwu asked. "Where's your Great Elder?" "Great Elder and the others have gone out," Taisong Shanshan said. "Other than 4th Elder, Patriarch and Great Elder have all gone out. Where did you go? What are you going to do?" Yang Hongwu asked curiously. "I don't know. I think he went to the Black Ice Divine Domain," Taitsong Shanshan said. "What are they going to do?" "I'm not sure. It said that the Black Ice Divine Domain was attacked by the demon race. The Divine Domain and the Demon Realm have already started a war. The Demon Realm's experts came aggressively and seemed to want to take over the entire Divine Domain," Taitsong Shanshan said. "Demon Realm?" Yang Hongwu heard this, and his heart moved. Could it be that the other party was a Z-Tion? If it was a Z-Tion, it wouldn't be strange. "Do you know who the Demon Realm's experts are?" Yang Hongwu asked again. "What's the name of the leader?" "I'm not sure." Taitsong Shanshan shook his head. Yang Hongwu was speechless when he heard this. This guy really didn't know anything. He didn't know anything. "Although I don't know, the 4th Elder definitely knows. Why don't I bring you to the 4th Elder?" Taitsong Shanshan said. Yang Hongwu heard this and looked at Taitsong Shanshan. This guy was either crazy or he wanted to scheme against him. However, it was nothing to Yang Hongwu. So what if he wanted to scheme against him? The Taitsong Dragons were dragons after all. Yang Hongwu was not afraid of the peak divine emperor experts. Moreover, he had obtained the inheritance of the Taitsong Dragon God and cultivated the Azure Dragon Prison Suppression Art. This cultivation technique was the top cultivation technique of the Taitsong Dragons. Now, the cultivation techniques of the Taitsong Dragons were all evolved from this cultivation technique. It could be said that the Azure Dragon Prison Suppression Art could be used by the Azure Dragon Prison Suppression Art. The Azure Dragon Prison Suppression Art could easily crush them. Yang Hongwu was not worried about the 4th Elder at all. However, if there were 3 or 4 Divine Emperors, it would be troublesome for Yang Hongwu. "All right." Yang Hongwu nodded. "Brother Yang, this is not good." At this time, Pang Lijuan said, "Yeah, Brother Yang. What if this guy is lying to us and wants to deal with us? Wouldn't it be bad?" Pang Liren echoed. "My lord, no, I am not." "Shut up." Before he could finish, he was interrupted by Pang Liren. "Do you think we are fools? This is your territory. We are intruders. Moreover, we are holding you hostage. How can you be so kind?" Pang Liren looked at him fiercely and said, "Do you believe that I will kill you right now?" Yang Hongwu saw this and shook his head slightly. "Don't worry, it's nothing. Even if he wants to scheme against us, don't worry. In front of absolute power, all schemes and tricks are useless. But, Brother Yang, this is the lair of the Taitsong dragons after all. Pang Lijuan said. She was still very worried. The Taitsong dragons were very strong. The previous Taitsong Linkong was also very strong. However, he was not an elder of the Taitsong dragons. It could be seen that the strength of the Taitsong dragons was much stronger. Another important point was that the other elders of the Taitsong dragons might not have really gone out. The words of this guy in front of her could not be completely trusted. What's more, it would be strange if a major force didn't have any trump cards in their base camp. My lord, you have to believe me. I absolutely dare not lie to you. If I lie, let me die a horrible death and never be reincarnated. Taitsong Shanshan hurriedly raised his hand and swore at this time. Well, whether what you said is true or not, whether you really want to scheme against us or not, I don't care. Now, take me to your fourth elder. Yang Hongwu waved his hand and said, Yes, my lord. Please come with me. Taitsong Shanshan stood up and walked in front. Chapter 1668. Although Taitsong Shanshan was extremely respectful and his tone was full of flattery, Yang Hongwu didn't know what he was thinking. Of course, he wouldn't care about the thoughts of a mere alchemy apprentice. He was merely an alchemy apprentice and not some unparalleled powerhouse. In Yang Hongwu's opinion, he was simply insignificant. What Yang Hongwu was concerned about now was the powerhouses in Azure Dragon Mountain. The fourth elder of the Taitsong Dragon clan that he was going to meet was one of them. Regardless of the fourth elder's cultivation base, he was definitely not weak since he was able to become an elder of the Taitsong dragons. Moreover, the fourth elder definitely wouldn't be as easy to fool as Taitsong Shanshan. Of course, he would know more information. Along the way, the four of them also met many people. All of these people were very respectful to Taitsong Shanshan. However, Yang Hongwu knew that this kid wasn't strong. The reason these people were so polite to him was because he was the first elder's alchemy apprentice. Soon, the four of them arrived in front of a cave residence. This cave abode was the fourth elder's place of cultivation. The fourth elder's name was Taitsong Beijian. As his name suggested, the cultivation technique he cultivated was mainly sword principle. Taitsong Shanshan had already mentioned this point along the way. However, Taitsong Shanshan obviously didn't know the exact level of Taitsong Beijian's cultivation base. However, Yang Hongwu had already sensed a supreme sword intent outside the cave residence. However, this sword intent was slightly weaker than Taitsong Linkong's. Yang Hongwu heaved a sigh of relief. Since the fourth elder, Taitsong Beijian, focused on sword principle and his comprehension of sword principle was slightly weaker than Taitsong Linkong's, it could prove that his strength was slightly weaker than Taitsong Linkong's. Therefore, Yang Hongwu wasn't worried. Go and report to the fourth elder that a distinguished guest is visiting. After arriving in front of the cave residence, Taitsong Shanshan instructed the guard of the cave residence. Yes, the guard nodded. Obviously, he was very clear that his status was far inferior to Taitsong Shanshan's. After all, the other party was the first elder's alchemy apprentice. The first elder was the most outstanding alchemist in the Taitsong dragons. The entire Taitsong dragons needed the first elder's help in order. Taitsong Shanshan's status was even higher than that of an ordinary elder's disciple. Therefore, after hearing Taitsong Shanshan's words, he didn't dare to ask and immediately agreed to report to the fourth elder. Not long after, the doorman came out again. Senior Brother Shanshan, the fourth elder invites you in, the doorman said. Taitsong Shanshan nodded and said to Yang Hongwu, Sir, this way please. Hearing Taitsong Shanshan's words, the doorman was shocked. What was the background of the man and two women in front of him? Why was Taitsong Shanshan so respectful? One had to know that although Taitsong Shanshan didn't usually appear in public, he was always arrogant to others. He would only do so when facing the clan leader and the various major powers. Acting Shanshan's, the status of the man and two women before him was likely extremely high. At the very least, they were comparable to the elders. Obviously, the three of them were very young. Could it be that the two of them were disciples of some unparalleled expert? That was what the guard guessed in his heart. Under the guard's lead, Yang Hongwu's group of 4 arrived at a house. The house didn't appear to be very big. However, it was decorated magnificently. The entire house was made of top-quality stone crystal or was the best construction material in the sacred domain. Ordinary people were absolutely unable to use it. Yang Hongwu felt that the 4th Elder's cave residence was practically made of such stone crystal or. It could be seen that the 4th Elder was very concerned about his reputation. It could be seen that the 4th Elder's comprehension of the sword principle was inferior to Taitsong Linkong's. After all, if a person cared too much about his external appearance, his comprehension of the sword principle would not be too outstanding. If he could see through that, then perhaps the 4th Elder's strength would be even stronger than Taitsong Linkong's. The 4th Elder of the Taitsong Dragons was far inferior to Elder Pang's state of mind. It was undeniable that among all the divine Emperor Realm warriors that Yang Hongwu had seen, there was no one whose state of mind was comparable to Elder Pang's. However, Elder Pang's cultivation was limited because of the seal and the curse. If he was outside the shepherding town, his strength would have increased tremendously. One should know that Elder Pang's cultivation was only at the Great Emperor Realm in the shepherding town. However, even if he was only at the Great Emperor Realm, his cultivation would have increased tremendously. However, even though he was only at the Great Emperor Realm, his combat strength was so terrifying. If his cultivation was promoted to the Divine Emperor Realm, he would probably be invincible under the Emperor Realm. Yang Hongwu originally wanted to learn these things from Elder Pang. Unfortunately, the old man had attacked him many times. This made Yang Hongwu feel very helpless. Moreover, Yang Hongwu was very clear that he was a great threat to the seal in the shepherding town. Elder Pang would not tell him his cultivation method, or the secret method to improve his state of mind. Therefore, Yang Hongwu no longer had any ideas about Elder Pang. Yang Hongwu's priority now was not to obtain Elder Pang's secret cultivation method. His priority was to find the girls. If they were captured by the Zetian, he would risk his life to save them. In Yang Hongwu's heart, the safety of the girls was more important than anything else. Everything else was secondary. 4th Elder, Taitsong Shanshan, bowed respectfully. Yang Hongwu looked at the 4th Elder. He was tall and thin, but his eyes were bright. There was a long sword hanging on his waist. Ordinary people could not feel the sword essence of a long sword, but Yang Hongwu could feel it clearly. Yes, the 4th Elder, Taitsong Beijian, nodded. He looked at Yang Hongwu and Pang Liren. The 3 of them were very talented, especially Yang Hongwu. Taitsong Beijian could see that there was a terrifying bloodline pressure on his body. This shocked Taitsong Beijian. He had encountered Yang Hongwu's bloodline pressure before. The most powerful thing was that he did not feel such a terrifying bloodline pressure from the patriarch, Taitsong Weiyang. This young man's bloodline level was stronger than the patriarch's, and not just by a little bit. Could this young man be from Taitsong Dragon Boundary? Perhaps only Taitsong Dragon Domain had such a powerful bloodline clansman, right? Taitsong Shanshan. These 3 are... Taitsong Beijian asked. Chapter 1669. What do you need to know? Taitsong Beijian looked at Yang Hongwu and asked. Although he didn't know Yang Hongwu's background, he didn't dare to offend Yang Hongwu. After all, the bloodline power of the young man in front of him was too powerful. The pressure it gave him was so terrifying. Even if the other party's cultivation realm wasn't high, he didn't dare to offend him. With such a powerful bloodline power, how could this person be so simple? What if the other party had a powerful background and had a huge force behind him? If he offended him, wouldn't it be the same as offending the powerful force behind him? In this way, it wouldn't benefit him at all, nor would it benefit the Taitsong dragons of Azure Dragon Mountain. The 4th Elder had lived for countless years, and he was wise with age. He was very clear about this problem. I want to know more about the common people's divine realm and the Black Ice divine realm. Of course, I also want to know about the invasion of the demon region. I don't know if you can tell me. Yang Hongwu looked at him and asked. The 4th Elder was relieved when he heard this. What the young man in front of him wanted to ask wasn't a big deal. It didn't matter if he told him. If he wanted to ask something related to the safety and interests of the dragons of Azure Dragon Mountain, he needed to seriously consider it. There's no problem. I could tell you everything I know. However, I'm very curious. Little brother, where did you come from? Why do you have such a powerful bloodline of dragons in your body? Could it be that you came from Taitsong Dragon World? The fourth elder looked at Yang Hongwu. Wu Sun asked. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said no. No, Taitsong Beijian said. It's okay if you don't want to say it. Elder, there's no need to guess or doubt. I'm not from Taitsong Dragon World. As for where I came from, it's not convenient for me to tell you. Yang Hongwu said. Yang Hongwu wanted to subdue the Taitsong Dragon clan, but he wouldn't be so stupid as to directly state his purpose. The Azure Dragon Mountain's lineage, the Taitsong Dragons, wouldn't be so easy to subdue. After all, every expert had their own dignity. Experts weren't so easy to subdue, let alone a big clan. To subdue the Taitsong Dragons, he could only do it step by step. Otherwise, unless Yang Hongwu had absolute power to completely suppress the dragons of Taitsong. However, it was impossible for Yang Hongwu's current strength to achieve this. Yang Hongwu to suppress the Taitsong dragons of Azure Mountain with absolute power. It was absolutely impossible. If that was the case, they would have to find another way. Yang Hongwu heard that other than the fourth elder in front of him, the rest of the Taitsong Dragon clan of the Azure Dragon Mountain had gone to the mystic ice divine realm to fight against the experts of the demon region. This might be his best opportunity. The Black Ice Divine Territory was quite far away from the Azure Dragon Mountain. One had to know that the Azure Dragon Mountain was the Profound Fire Divine Territory. Although the Profound Fire Divine Territory and the Black Ice Divine Territory were neighbors, one had to cross half of the Profound Fire Divine Territory to reach the Black Ice Divine Territory. The Taitsong Dragons of the Azure Dragon Mountain had to cross such a long distance to go to the Mystic Ice Domain to fight against the experts of the Zone of Demon. This was obviously because the Zone of Demon was aggressive and powerful. The Mystic Ice Holy Palace of the Mystic Ice Domain was not strong enough, so they had to summon experts from other domains to help. In the Divine Dominion, the Devil Area was everyone's enemy. The Devil Area's experts had tried to invade the Divine Dominion countless times and had launched countless wars. Therefore, to the people of the Divine Dominion, the Devil Area was the Divine Dominion's greatest enemy. Once the Devil Area's experts appeared, the entire Divine Dominion and all the forces would be affected. United as one, they fought against the people from the demonic domain. Moreover, if the people from the Devil's domain were really Zetion's people, then it would be very good news for him. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. In this way, Yang Hongwu would not have to worry too much about going against the Zetion. At least, he would have a lot of helpers. I can understand. Taitsong Beijian nodded. He was more and more certain that Yang Hongwu's origin was not ordinary. Moreover, there was a great possibility that he was from the Taitsong Dragon Domain. It was just that Yang Hongwu was not willing to admit it. Thank you, Yang Hongwu said. The information you want to know, except for the information about the common people's divine dominion, I don't know much about it. As for the other information, I know quite a lot about the invasion of the Mystic Ice Domain and the Devil Area. Although the common people's divine dominion has not been invaded by the experts of the Devil Area, recently, many things have happened in the common people's divine dominion. Rumor has it that the palace master of the common people's divine dominion was seriously injured and had to go into seclusion to recuperate. Now, the common people's divine dominion is under the control of the great elder of the common people's divine dominion. As for other information, I don't know much. Taitsong Beijian paused for a moment before continuing. However, the matter of the Mystic Ice Divine Realm is extremely critical. Right now, more than half of the Mystic Ice Divine Realm has fallen into the hands of the experts from the Demon Region. This time, the Demon Region has come in full force, and their leader is terrifyingly powerful. The experts of the 13 Divine Dominion barely managed to resist the attack of the Devil Area. At this point, Taitsong Beijian's face was very solemn. The Mystic Ice Domain and the Mystic Fire Domain bordered each other. Once the Mystic Ice Domain fell, The mystic fire domain would be next. As one of the two major forces of the mystic fire domain, how could the Taitsong dragons of the Azure Dragon Mountain avoid it? How could they stay out of it? It was absolutely impossible. Therefore, the Taitsong dragons of the Azure Dragon Mountain had mobilized all the experts except for him, including the Patriarch and the other 5 elders. Yang Hongwu furrowed his brows. He was extremely shocked. All the experts of the 13 divine dominions joined forces and barely managed to resist the attack of the devil area. How could he not be shocked? Each of the 13 divine dominions had at least 2 major forces, and each force was very powerful. For example, the Common Life Divine Palace had at least 1 divine Emperor Realm expert. This was something that Yang Hongwu only knew now. If it was before, he would have thought that the Common Life Divine Palace had at least 1 divine Emperor Realm expert. But now, he knew that it was absolutely impossible. Taitsong Beijian's words meant that there were at least 13 divine Emperor Realm experts gathered in the mystic ice domain. It might even be more than that. With so many divine Emperor Realm experts joining forces, together with the elite forces of the major forces, how terrifying and powerful it was. Even if they joined forces, they still could not resist the attack of the devil area. So, how ferocious and terrifying the devil area was. Could it be that there were experts at the level of the Emperor in the devil area? Or Zetion's strength had reached the level of the Emperor? Chapter 1670. If the Lord of the Demon Region was really Zetion, then it would be a big problem. The Demon Region should be a big world, comparable to the God Region. Even if it wasn't as good as the God Region, it wouldn't be too far off. And with Zetion's ability, it wasn't impossible for him to truly control the Demon Region and become the true Lord of the Demon Region. After all, Zetion was his old enemy. This was what Yang Hongwu was most worried about. If his strength had reached such a level, then it would be a big problem. After all, Yang Hongwu hadn't completely controlled the God Region and hadn't become the true Lord of the God Region. Yang Hongwu guessed that the Common People's God Region should have a fragment of the Great Seal of the Common People. Until now, Yang Hongwu hadn't gotten it. In addition, he just got the news from the 4th Elder that there was a problem with the Common People's God Palace. The Palace Master of the Common People's God Palace had been dealt with and was severely injured. This was a bit meaningful. If Zetion had guessed that the Common People's God Region also had a fragment of the Great Seal of the Common People, then it was normal for Zetion to attack the Common People's God Region. After all, Zetion knew that he had the Great Seal of the Common People. Now, Zetion had recovered a lot of memories from his previous life. In his previous life, he was a supreme demon and was incomparably powerful. It wasn't surprising that he knew about the Great Seal of the Common People. However, Yang Hongwu knew that if the Common People's God Region had a fragment of the Great Seal of the Common People, it shouldn't have been obtained by Zetion. This was something worth comforting. Originally, Yang Hongwu wanted to go to the Common People's God Region first. However, after thinking about it, he decided to go to the Xian Bing God Region first to see the situation there. He wanted to see if any of the girls were in the Xian Bing God Region. He could also check the situation in the Demon Region and see if the Lord of the Demon Region was Zetion. If he was Zetion, then it was a bit risky. Zetion had only sent a clone to the Common People's God Region. The strength of that clone was already so terrifying, so terrifying. In that case, how strong was his original body? Even if he was not Emperor, he was not far from becoming Emperor. However, Yang Hongwu's strength was far from enough. Now, Yang Hongwu had not even reached the Divine Emperor realm, which was depressing. He was only a peak 8th level Divine Lord. Peak 8th level Divine Lord. If facing off against Zetion, even relying on array formations, he was likely not a match either. Therefore, what Yang Hongwu needed the most now was to increase his cultivation and strength. However, if he wanted to quickly increase his strength and cultivation, the easiest way was to find the remaining fragments of the Great Seal of Life and control the true Great Seal of Life. Only now did Yang Hongwu truly understand how powerful the Life Grand Seal was. His other treasures, such as the Dragon Gate, the Dragonization Pagoda, the Hongmeng Saber, and even the Scroll of Good Fortune, were all incomparable to the real-life seal. Even if these few complete treasures were combined, they might not necessarily be more powerful than the real-life seal. Therefore, what Yang Hongwu wanted the most now was the real complete life grand seal of life. While Yang Hongwu was thinking, Taitsong Beijian continued, "Therefore, our deity region is now in danger. The demon region is already eyeing us covetously. At this moment, the people of the demon region should have already invaded various parts of the deity region. I guess that the matter of the common people's divine hall should be related to the lord of the demon region. I am very clear about the strength of the palace lord of the common people's divine hall. He is extremely powerful. Even our patriarch is not a match for him. However, he was severely injured. The opponent's strength has probably reached an unfathomable level. However, the attacker is not the lord of the demon region. If you go to the common people's divine hall, you must be careful of him. Thank you for your reminder, Elder. However, this time, I will not go to the common people's divine hall first. I will go to the Xian Ice Divine Hall." Yang Hongwu said, "Xian Ice Divine Hall?" Taitsong Beijian opened his eyes wide. He did not expect that the young man in front of him would want to go to the Xian Ice Divine Hall. One should know that the Xian Ice Divine Hall was in an extremely dangerous situation. It would be very troublesome if he fell into it. "That's right. I will go to the Xian Ice Divine Hall to look for some people." Yang Hongwu said, "Looking for people?" Taitsong Beijian said, "Our Azure Dragon Mountain has some connections in the entire deity region. If you want to look for people, I may be able to help. If Elder is willing to help, then I will be very grateful." Yang Hongwu said. After all, he didn't have much influence in the divine realm. Although he had taken in 2 servants in the divine realm, they probably didn't have much power now. Therefore, there wasn't much point in looking for them. In order to find a few women, Yang Hongwu had racked his brains. It's all right. Although Taitsong Beijian did not get any information about Yang Hongwu, he was very surprised to hear that Yang Hongwu wanted to go to the Xian Ice Divine Hall. It would be a pity if such a genius was killed by the demon region in the Xian Ice Divine Hall. After all, his cultivation was still too weak. He was only a divine lord. Even if he was a peak divine lord, it would not be enough to go to the Xian Ice Divine Hall. One should know that in the 13 deity regions, the top experts of the major forces would be in danger of death if they went to the Xian Ice Divine Hall. Obviously, he was an 8th-level divine lord martialist, and his strength was still too weak. "This is a piece of cake for us," Taitsong Beijian said. Yang Hongwu smiled slightly. Taitsong Beijian's politeness surprised Yang Hongwu. More importantly, Taitsong Beijian did not ask how Yang Hongwu entered Azure Dragon Mountain. This surprised Yang Hongwu. One should know that Azure Dragon Mountain was not simple. There was still a mountain protecting array here. Moreover, this mountain protecting array was not simple. Without sufficient strength, it was impossible to enter this place easily. It was even more impossible for one to enter this place without making a sound. Furthermore, ordinary people did not have the qualifications to bring outsiders in. Those who were able to bring strangers and were definitely people of high status. "No matter what, I still have to thank you, Elder." Yang Hongwu continued, "I wonder if I can borrow your array to teleport to the Xian Ice Divine Hall." Yang Hongwu knew that there was a teleportation array in Azure Dragon Mountain. Yang Hongwu could use this teleportation array to save a lot of trouble. That is naturally not a problem. However, this teleportation array cannot send you directly to the Xian Ice Divine Hall. It will send you to the Baita Hill in the Xian Fire Divine Hall, Taitsong Beijian said. Chapter 1671. Hearing this, Yang Hongwu shook his head. "No need." Yang Hongwu said, "Thank you for your help, Elder. I'm already very grateful that you allowed me to use your teleportation formation. How would I dare to trouble you?" Yang Hongwu could guess what Taitsong Beijian was thinking. Taitsong Beijian wanted Yang Hongwu to follow them to find out more about Yang Hongwu. If possible, he wanted to gain some benefits from Yang Hongwu. How could Yang Hongwu let Taitsong Beijian do as he wished? Moreover, Yang Hongwu wanted to change the teleportation formation and teleport to the Xian Ice Divine Realm. He could not let them follow him. Otherwise, he would be delayed and the loss would outweigh the gain. That's a pity. When Taitsong Beijian heard this, he sighed in disappointment. Yang Hongwu had directly rejected him, so he was too embarrassed to say anything more. Xiao Shan, bring little brother to the teleportation tower. Yes, elder. Taitsong Shanshan nodded. Yang Hongwu left Taitsong Beijian's cultivation cave and followed Taitsong Shanshan to the teleportation tower of Mount Azure Dragon. There were 10 teleportation formations in the teleportation tower of Mount Azure Dragon. These 10 teleportation formations led to different directions. After arriving at the teleportation tower, Yang Hongwu saw a huge spiritual vein below the teleportation tower. Only such a spiritual vein could support such a teleportation formation. The energy required. In fact, the entire Mount Azure Dragon was a huge spiritual vein. This spiritual vein was the second largest spiritual vein in the entire Xian Fire Divine Realm. The spiritual qi was as majestic as a huge dragon. Only a small part of this huge spiritual vein was exposed. Its location was Mount Azure Dragon. The rest of the spiritual vein was hidden underground. Below the transport tower was only a branch of the spiritual vein. Even though it was only a branch of the huge spiritual vein, it was still filled with such dense spiritual energy. It was evident just how terrifying and tremendous the energy within the spiritual vein was. If he could completely refine this huge spiritual vein, he might be able to break through the bottleneck and enter the divine emperor realm. Who knows? However, Yang Hongwu was only guessing. Moreover, with such a huge amount of spiritual energy, it was estimated that it had already given birth to its own spiritual intelligence. Now it was just sleeping. Moreover, if he really touched such a huge spiritual vein, it would probably trigger the resistance of the entire divine realm's will. Yang Hongwu's current strength was still insufficient to contend against the will of the entire divine realm. After all, the current lord of the infernal realm's strength was not enough to go against the will of the celestial realm, much less himself. This was not Yang Hongwu trying to undermine his prestige, but it was the truth. The divine realm was a great world. How powerful and terrifying was its source will. The origin will of the entire macro world was, in fact, the will left behind by the powerhouse who created this macro world. How terrifying was the strength of the powerhouse who could create such a macro world. It was far from what he could resist at the moment. Perhaps the other party's strength was at the peak of the Emperor realm, or perhaps his strength had surpassed the Emperor realm. Whether it was the Emperor realm or someone who had surpassed the Emperor realm, it was not something that the current Yang Hongwu could deal with. If it was the Emperor realm, even if Yang Hongwu released the power within his body, he might not be able to resist it. Therefore, Yang Hongwu did not dare to take the risk. Of course, if he only wanted to refine a part of the spiritual energy and borrow a part of the spiritual vein's power to cultivate, it should not be a big problem. As long as he was not too ambitious, wanting to devour the entire spiritual vein should not be a problem. In fact, all of these were just Yang Hongwu's thoughts. It was impossible for him to take action at the moment, and he did not have the time to do so. Lord, this is the transport tower. There are a total of 10 transport formations here, and this one is the formation that will send you to Baita Hill. Taitsong Shanshan pointed at the third transport formation in the transport tower and said, "Not bad. These 10 formations are really amazing. I think that the person who arranged these 10 transport formations should not be simple, right?" Yang Hongwu was very curious. Who was the person who arranged these formations? Although Yang Hongwu could also arrange these 10 formations, it would take a lot of effort to arrange them. These formations were not an easy thing to do. The way these 10 formations were arranged was very unique. Moreover, these 10 formations were not as simple as transport formations. Among the 10 teleportation formations, there was a powerful and terrifying killing formation. If this killing array were to be activated, its might would be extremely terrifying. This was probably the greatest trump card of the Azure Dragon Mountain. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was so shocked. If it was an ordinary person, they would not be able to see it. Once these 10 transport formations were combined and activated using a special method, it would become a terrifying killing formation. Yang Hongwu estimated that this formation was completely activated by borrowing 30% of the energy from the spiritual vein under Azure Dragon Mountain. How terrifying was the spiritual chi of this spiritual vein? How terrifying was it to burst out 30% of its energy in an instant? He estimated that if one's strength had not reached the level of an emperor, they would all be killed in an instant. Even a true emperor-level expert would have a high chance of being killed by such an attack. Such a terrifying formation was not something an ordinary person could arrange. Even if Yang Hongwu wanted to arrange this formation, he would have to pay a huge price. This was something that Yang Hongwu could not bear. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was very curious about the person who arranged this formation. In fact, if Yang Hongwu did not want to change this transport formation, he would not be able to sense this formation at all. These 8 transport formations combined to form another terrifying formation. Yang Hongwu considered himself to be a genius in the art of formations. No one was more outstanding than him in the art of formations. However, after seeing such a formation, he had to admit that the person who had set up this formation was much stronger than him. Chapter 1672. Dragon Ancestor, Dragon God Taitsong. Yang Hongwu didn't expect Dragon Ancestor Taitsong to be so powerful. Yang Hongwu was shocked. At this time, Taitsong Shanshan looked at Yang Hongwu in shock and said loudly, "Oh, speaking of Dragon Ancestor, it reminds me of something. My lord, you look exactly the same as Lord Dragon Ancestor's statue." In fact, he was very surprised from the beginning, but he didn't say it out loud. He only thought that Yang Hongwu was Taitsong Linkong. Hearing this, Yang Hongwu also remembered this matter. This isn't right. I look so similar to Dragon God Taitsong. There's no reason why Taitsong Shanshan couldn't recognize me. That old man seems to be pretending. Moreover, I don't just look like Dragon God Taitsong. I also look like Taitsong Linkong. There are some similarities, but Taitsong Shanshan pretended not to know all of this. It would be strange if there wasn't something fishy about this. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu couldn't help but shake his head. He thought too simply of these old things. The reason why this old thing didn't attack him was probably because of the powerful bloodline pressure in his body. Moreover, he looked very similar to Dragon God Taitsong and their dragon ancestor. He probably thought that he was the reincarnation of their dragon ancestor. Or maybe one of their dragon ancestors' incarnations was reincarnated. He recalled the worried look on Taitsong Beijian's face when he heard that he was going to the Black Ice Divine Realm. Back then, Yang Hongwu thought that he was mistaken. Now that he thought about it, Taitsong Beijian was indeed worried. If he guessed correctly, Taitsong Beijian was indeed worried. If he wasn't mistaken, he would be teleported to Baita Hill. There should be someone there to receive him. Moreover, at this time, in the Black Ice Divine Domain, the Patriarch of Azure Dragon Mountain's Taitsong Dragons already knew about Yang Hongwu's news. He had already informed a guardian elder of Taitsong Dragons in Baita Hill to wait for Yang Hongwu's arrival. However, he had miscalculated all of this. This was because Yang Hongwu would not directly teleport to Baita Hill. In fact, after Yang Hongwu had left Taitsong Beijian's cave abode, Taitsong Beijian had already used a message talisman to communicate with the clan leader of the Taitsong Dragons in the Mystic Ice Sacred Realm. Patriarch Lil Jian, what's the matter? Why are you using this teleportation talisman? Could it be that something happened in Azure Dragon Mountain? Clan leader Taitsong, who was in the Black Ice Divine Domain, received the message from Taitsong Tyrant Sword. He was extremely shocked. One had to know that this message talisman was not a cabbage. It was an extremely precious treasure. A message talisman, if it wasn't something important, would not be used. Yet, he had used the Taitsong Tyrant Sword. Thus, how could Clan Chief Taitsong not be worried? I saw someone. His bloodline's oppressive might was extremely terrifying, much more terrifying than yours, Taitsong Beijian said. Furthermore, his appearance was identical to Lord Dragon ancestors. What? Are you sure you're not mistaken? Taitsong Patriarch was shocked when he heard that. Who am I? Taitsong Tyrant's sword. How could I lie about such a thing? Taitsong Tyrant's sword said. Patriarch, when have you seen me joke about such an important matter? That's true. Clan Chief Taitsong nodded. Where did he come from? I don't know, but he had the aura of the Taitsong Divine Hall. Furthermore, he appeared in the direction of Boss's cave residence. Therefore, I'm guessing that he must have come from the Taitsong Divine Hall. There were 2 women beside him, but their auras were very unique. Taitsong Tyrant's sword said. No matter what, you have to keep him here, Clan Chief Taitsong said. Taitsong Tyrant's sword shook his head. That's impossible. If we force him to stay, I'm afraid it will cause him to be disgusted. You're right about this. We must not offend him. If what you said is true, then he's very likely the reincarnation of Lord Dragon Ancestor, Clan Chief Taitsong said. I've already thought of this, but he has already left Azure Dragon Mountain, Taitsong Tyrant's sword said. What? Left? Why don't you keep him here first? Wait for us to return? Clan Chief Taitsong's tone was somewhat agitated when he heard this. Taitsong Tyrant's sword smiled bitterly. I have no choice. Where'd he go? Clan Chief Taitsong said. We'll return now. We must find him and not let him be in any danger. You must know that with the invasion of the demon domain, our divine realm is in danger everywhere. If he falls into the hands of the demon domain's experts, it will be very troublesome. Clan Chief Taitsong was very worried. If the demon domain's experts used him, wouldn't the Taitsong dragons be in big trouble? There was also the calamity of extermination. If the demon domain's experts used his powerful bloodline pressure to deal with the Taitsong dragons, the consequences would be unimaginable. Black Ice Divine Realm. This time, he appeared in Azure Dragon Mountain to borrow the teleportation array in the transport tower, Taitsong Tyrant's sword said. So, he's already teleported to Baita Hill. Clan Chief Taitsong said. Immediately inform Old Six and have him wait for his arrival. I've already informed him, Taitsong Tyrant's sword said. That's good. I'll bring people and immediately rush to Baita Hill, Clan Chief Taitsong said. After cutting off the communication talisman, the 3 elders beside Clan Chief Taitsong looked at him and said, Clan Chief, what happened? Did Old For use a communication talisman? Clan Chief Taitsong looked at the 3 elders and said, Good news. Lord Dragon Ancestor's reincarnation has appeared. What? Is this for real? The 3 elders widened their eyes in disbelief when they heard this. It's true. Moreover, he's already heading to Baita Hill. He's going to Black Ice Divine Realm immediately, Clan Chief Taitsong said. Lord Dragon Ancestor's reincarnation. What's his cultivation? Has he recovered his memories? The first elder asked. Clan Chief Taitsong shook his head. No, his cultivation isn't high. He's not even a divine emperor. What? Everyone became anxious when they heard that. Clan Chief, he's not even a divine emperor. Coming to Black Ice Divine Realm is not good. We must stop Lord Dragon Ancestor. That's right. Clan Chief, why is Old Force so unreliable? Lord Dragon Ancestor hasn't recovered his memories and cultivation. Letting him come to Black Ice Divine Realm is a dangerous place. If something happens, won't we become the sinners of the Taitsong dragons? Another elder said. Old Four has already informed Old Six to wait at Baita Hill. After we deal with the matter at hand, we'll immediately rush to Baita Hill to meet Old Six and welcome Lord Dragon Ancestor, Clan Chief Taitsong said. The others nodded. Chapter 1673. Is this Baita Hill? Didn't you say that we would be teleported to the transport tower? Pang Liren frowned and said, Big Brother Yang, have we been deceived? Everywhere here is a vast expanse of whiteness, a wilderness covered in ice and snow. Yes, Big Brother Yang, that bastard tricked us. Pang Li Juan said angrily. Previously, when they entered the teleportation circle, Taitasong Shanshan had said that they would be teleported to the teleportation tower of Baita Hills. But now, they were teleported to the wilderness. Everywhere was covered in ice and snow. They did not know where this place was. That was why the 2 girls were so angry. They thought that Taitsong Shanshan had tricked them. Yang Hongwu smiled and shook his head. Don't be angry. This is the Black Ice Divine Domain. The reason why we were not teleported to the transport tower by Tahil is because I changed the teleportation formation and teleported to the black ice divine domain. So it's like that. Big Brother Yang is really amazing. When the two women heard this, it turned out that they did not encounter a scheme. Moreover, according to Tai Shan Shan, Yang Hongwu could silently change the array of such a powerful teleportation array. This was really shocking. Then where are we going now? Pang Li asked. Black Ice City. Yang Hongwu said, Black Ice City is the core of the Black Ice Divine Domain. It is also the foundation of the Black Ice Divine Temple. The people of the 13 divine domains should be in Black Ice City. How far is this place from Black Ice City? How do we get there? Pang Li asked. Yang Hongwu shook his head. I don't know where this place is, but it should not be far from Black Ice City. In fact, Yang Hongwu wanted to teleport directly to Black Ice City, but he was worried that it would cause trouble. Moreover, Yang Hongwu did not know the situation of Black Ice City. What if Black Ice City was occupied by the demon domain? This wasn't impossible. There is a cultivator's aura ahead. Let's go and take a look. Yang Hongwu sensed a powerful cultivator's qi not far from him. He was a half-step divine emperor and was quite powerful. Yang Hongwu was very surprised that there was such a strong person in the wilderness. Yang Hongwu had investigated before. Within a radius of 1,000 miles, there was only one aura of an expert. This was a human cultivator, and the others were just some ferocious beasts. Of course, some ferocious beasts and mutated beasts would possess intelligence after reaching a certain level of cultivation. However, in this place, powerful ferocious beasts were also extremely rare. Within a radius of 1,000 miles, there was also only one powerful ferocious beast. This ferocious beast was extremely powerful. Its strength was probably slightly stronger than that human cultivator's qi. Although it hadn't broken through to the God Emperor realm, it was estimated that the ferocious beast would have the upper hand if they were to fight. In this world of ice and snow, everywhere is barren. It's strange that he's here. Pang Li said, could it be that he's from the demon domain? Maybe he was forced to take refuge here by the demon domain? Pang Li Juan said, let's go and take a look. Coincidentally, we need a guide. Yang Hongwu held the two women's hands and activated the teleportation technique. Instantly, they were teleported towards that person's location. After a few breaths, Yang Hongwu appeared in front of that person. Who are you? Seeing Yang Hongwu and the other two suddenly appear in front of him, Zhang Liqiang's expression changed greatly, as if he was facing a great enemy. The other party's strength was too strong. To be able to silently appear in front of him, their strength definitely far surpassed his. They were not people he could handle. Don't be nervous. We're not hostile. Yang Hongwu looked at the man in front of him, as if he was facing a great enemy. You're not from the demon domain. Why are you following me? Could it be that you all became the demon domain's lackeys? At this time, Zhang Liqiang looked at Yang Hongwu and the other two with an unfriendly expression. He was very vigilant against Yang Hongwu, but did not launch an attack either. I already said before, I'm not your enemy and don't have hostility towards you. If I wanted to deal with you, you'd be dead just now, Yang Hongwu said. The moment Zhang Liqiang heard, it made sense too. Although the other party's cultivation seemed to be just peak 8th level Divine Lord, his strength was very terrifying. That elusive means if he really wanted to sneak attack him, he had no way of resisting at all. Since you're not an enemy and don't have hostility, then please leave. When Zhang Liqiang heard Yang Hongwu's words, his expression eased up a little, but his tone was still so cold, carrying a tone that kept people 1,000 miles away as he said to Yang Hongwu, why are you like this? Pang Liren said angrily the moment she heard, Big Brother Yang is talking to you nicely, but you're actually like this. Truly very hateful. Yang Hongwu waved his hand, indicating for Pang Liren not to speak. The man in front of him was too vigilant. However, this was normal. If it was him, he wouldn't dare to let his guard down in such a situation. When facing an unfamiliar expert and not having the confidence to deal with him, it was natural for him to be nervous and worried that the other party would do something to him. As the saying goes, one must always be on guard against others. Especially at the crucial moment of the demon domain's invasion, one should be extremely vigilant. One must know that at such a moment, the slightest mistake could be a matter of life and death. Big brother, we came from Azure Dragon Mountain. This time, we came to look for Chief Azure Dragons. Yang Hongwu said, when we were teleporting from Azure Dragon Mountain to Baita Hill, an accident occurred with the teleportation formation. That's why we were teleported here. Within 1,000 miles, I only felt this big brother's aura. That's why I took the liberty to meet this big brother. You're from Azure Dragon Mountain? Zhang Liqiang looked at Yang Hongwu and felt the pressure of dragons from his body. However, this was not strange. Just Yang Hongwu's words were not enough to dispel Zhang Liqiang's suspicions. You are dragons of Taitsong? No, you have a dragon on your body. However, the two of them don't. On the contrary, I can feel an evil aura from their bodies. Although they hid it well, they couldn't hide it from me. Nonsense! How could we have evil aura on our bodies? Pang Liren immediately became angry and scolded. Big brother Yang, I don't think he's a good person. He is definitely a bad person. Yang Hongwu said, Big brother, you misunderstood. We are not bad people. If I wanted to deal with you, I wouldn't need to be so long-winded with you. Chapter 1674. In reality, Zhang Liqiang had come here to kill the dark ice mink and use its inner core to save someone. Therefore, he didn't want to see anyone else. This man and two women appearing here in front of him made him very worried. Furthermore, this man's strength was very formidable. Even he could not see through him. On the surface, even though it was just an 8th-level divine lord cultivation, much lower compared to him, he felt a terrifying threat from Yang Hongwu's body. As for the two women, their cultivation was even weaker. However, there was a trace of evil in their souls. It was impossible for evil to appear in an ordinary person's soul. These two women were obviously not ordinary people. If they weren't corroded by evil, then there was a problem with them. No matter which one it was, it could prove that there was a problem with these two women. Moreover, it was very serious. Although that man had a very pure bloodline of dragons and was probably related to the Taitsong dragons, it didn't mean that he could be trusted. However, to Zhang Liqiang, killing the dark ice mink and obtaining its Niden was extremely important to him. He couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Once an accident happened, it would mean that the dark ice goddess would be doomed eternally. This was something he couldn't bear. Now that the dark ice sacred palace was in danger, he was the only person the dark ice goddess trusted. He couldn't make any mistakes in the important task she gave him. Roar! At this moment, a white figure appeared. It was the Dark Ice Martin. The Dark Ice Martin was the overlord of this world. How could it not sense that 4 unfamiliar humans had appeared in its territory? Therefore, the Dark Ice Martin appeared. These 4 humans dared to appear here. The Dark Ice Martin absolutely couldn't tolerate their provocation. Dark Ice Martin. Zhang Liqiang narrowed his eyes and stared at the Dark Ice Martin. This was his goal. As long as he killed this Dark Ice Martin and obtained its inner core, the goddess would be saved. Humans, how dare you trespass into my territory? You're courting death. Do you know that? The Dark Ice Martin looked at Yang Hongwu and the others and said, So cute. Big brother Yang, I want that Dark Ice Martin. Brother Yang, catch it. Pang Liren and Pang Li Juan looked at the Black Ice Sable. Even though the Black Ice Sable was not big, it was the overlord of this area. It was a half-step divine emperor. All right, Yang Hongwu nodded. Although this mink was strong, it wasn't difficult for Yang Hongwu to subdue it. It was still possible. Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, Zhang Liqiang's face turned ugly. He was determined to obtain the Dark Frost mink. Yet now, this man and 2 women intended to interfere, and it caused him to feel worried in his heart. If this man and woman weren't here, then he was confident in his ability to deal with the Dark Frost mink. But how could he not be worried when such an unexpected event occurred? If he couldn't obtain the profound Ice Mink's Niden, then the goddess' injuries wouldn't be able to recover. That would be very troublesome. However, no matter what, he had to obtain the profound Ice Mink's Niden, even if he had to pay a high price. The Dark Frost mink is mine. I have been looking for it for more than half a month, and I have finally found its location. The Dark Frost mink is very important to me. I hope that the three of you can give it to me. Zhang Liqiang said in the end. If Yang Hongwu took action, he wasn't absolutely confident that he could obtain the Dark Frost mink. After hesitating for a moment, he still said to Yang Hongwu, "Why?" When Pang Liren heard this, she didn't agree. "This black ice mink isn't raised by your family. Why should I give it to you? We are not related to you at all. Why should we give it to you?" "Humph, Big Brother Yang, I don't care. Anyway, I want this Dark Frost mink as my pet." "Big Brother Yang, is that okay?" Pang Liren acted coquettishly towards Yang Hongwu. Zhang Liqiang was speechless when he heard that. It was the truth. "Then let's rely on our own abilities." Zhang Liqiang spoke coldly. "No matter what, I'm determined to obtain this Dark Frost mink today, and anyone that tries to seize it from me is my enemy. All of you damnable humans really don't take me seriously." The Dark Frost mink's strength had already reached the peak of half-step Divine Emperor Realm, and it was only a step away from breaking through to Divine Emperor Realm. But now, it heard Yang Hongwu and the others discussing who it should belong to. How could it not be angry if it became its pet? It was the overlord of this area, and it was being looked down upon by these humans. The Dark Frost mink was furious. Its body changed, and it instantly turned into a giant beast that was dozens of feet tall. Its face became ferocious and terrifying, and its terrifying aura swept the surrounding ice and snow. This caused a terrifying amount of destruction within a radius of 100 zhang. "I will kill all of you." The Dark Frost mink roared and rushed towards the four of them. It slapped its huge claws, wanting to smash them into meat paste. "Good." Zhang Liqiang harumphed coldly, and his body emitted a strong light. His entire body became bigger, and he turned into a giant. This was the Heaven and Earth Law. After Zhang Liqiang summoned his Heaven and Earth Dharma form, the aura that erupted from him was extremely terrifying and powerful. His aura was even more powerful and terrifying than the Dark Frost mink. Zhang Liqiang clenched his fists and threw out a punch. This punch landed on the Dark Ice Mink's body in an instant. The massive Dark Ice Mink was sent flying by this domineering punch. Its huge body crashed into a small mountain, and that small mountain was instantly shattered. Pang Liren and Pang Lijuan were shocked. They did not expect the man in front of them to have such terrifying strength. This was not something that they could fight against. If Yang Hongwu did not protect the two of them, they would not have been able to withstand such a powerful impact. What a powerful Dark Frost mink. It's really powerful. This man's strength is not bad either. Heaven and Earth Law. I did not expect him to have such a secret technique. Yang Hongwu looked at Zhang Liqiang rushing towards the Dark Frost mink. This guy's strength was unquestionable. Originally, Yang Hongwu thought that this guy was going to be a Dark Frost mink. Chapter 1675. The Dark Ice Marten got up again and rushed towards Zhang Liqiang. "It's useless. Unless you're an expert in the Divine Emperor Realm, you're no match for me under my Zhang Liqiang's cosmic form." Zhang Liqiang roared and punched out again. This time, his fist heavily landed on the Black Ice Mink's body. The Black Ice Mink was unable to block it at all. Although the Dark Ice Marten was powerful, there was still a big gap between it and Zhang Liqiang's cosmic form. In fact, the Dark Ice Marten's battle experience was far less than Zhang Liqiang's. Zhang Liqiang seemed to have a thorough understanding of the Dark Ice Marten's attacks. He could easily dodge each of the Dark Ice Marten's attacks. After dodging, he could even take advantage of the Dark Ice Marten's weakness and send it flying. Get out. In this way, how could the Dark Ice Marten compete with Zhang Liqiang? However, the Dark Ice Marten's vitality and fighting strength were also very tenacious. Every time it was sent flying, it would get up again. The more serious the injury, the crazier the Dark Ice Marten became. Zhang Liqiang couldn't bear it anymore. Although his Heaven and Earth Dharma idol was powerful and stronger than the Dark Ice Marten, the Dark Ice Marten was not weak either. After all, the Dark Ice Marten was at the peak of the half-step Divine Emperor Realm. The Dark Ice Marten's desperate attacks consumed Zhang Liqiang's energy. At this moment, he was extremely anxious in his heart. If this continued, then even though he could kill the Dark Ice Mink, he would be heavily injured as well. However, there were still people by his side, and it was that man and two women. If both he and the dark ice mink were to be injured, then wouldn't it benefit those three people? In this way, it would be a waste of his energy. Thinking of this, he could not wait to take down the dark ice marten in the shortest time possible. After taking the dark ice marten's inner core, he would leave this place. Otherwise, he would not have any spare energy to deal with the man and the two women. Damn human, I want you to die without a burial place. At this moment, the dark ice marten was suppressed again and again and became completely crazy. With a roar, the dark ice marten's aura increased. Zhang Liqiang's expression changed greatly. The dark ice marten was burning its inner core. The inner core of an exotic beast was equivalent to the spiritual soul of a cultivator. Burning the inner core was equivalent to burning one's vitality. Once the inner core's power was exhausted, it would die. Exotic beasts and ferocious beasts would not do that unless it was under special circumstances. At this moment, the dark ice marten's inner core was burning, bursting out a great power that was close to the divine emperor realm to kill it. Yang Hongwu had already brought Pang Liren and Pang Lijuan out of the battlefield. The dark ice marten's core martens ice marten's core's core, ice marten sits to the kill, as marten. At this moment, Zhang Liqiang was helpless against the dark ice marten's frenzied attacks. Even though he had the upper hand, there was nothing he could do against the dark ice marten's suicidal attacks. He couldn't let the dark ice marten off lightly under such circumstances. After all, the black ice marten was also at the top of the half-godly emperor layer. He was also at the top of the half-godly emperor layer. Therefore, Zhang Liqiang could only defend himself against the dark ice marten's crazy attacks. Damn it! Zhang Liqiang was furious, but he could do nothing about it. Mister, please lend me a hand and let me get the inner core of this black ice mink. I will thank you on behalf of the Black Ice Palace. Seeing that the black ice mink's attacks were getting stronger and stronger, he had a vague feeling that he was unable to resist. He had no choice but to speak. The inner core of the dark ice marten was very important to him and the dark ice goddess. He could not allow anything to go wrong. If this continued, he might not even be able to save his own life, let alone get the inner core of the dark ice marten. To Zhang Liqiang, he had already disregarded his own life and death. If that wasn't the case, he wouldn't have taken such a huge risk to come here alone in search of the Black Ice Mink. Although the Black Ice Holy Palace was supreme in the Black Ice Holy Realm, it was not united internally. The Black Ice Holy Palace was divided into several forces. Among them, the Black Ice Holy Palace belonged to the Black Ice Goddess. Now that the Mystic Ice Goddess had been schemed against and was recovering from her injuries, he had come to find the Mystic Ice Mink and obtain its inner core. This concerned the entire Mystic Ice Goddess. If he did not obtain the inner core of the Mystic Ice Mink, the Mystic Ice Goddess would not be able to recover from her injuries in a short time. Then, the Dark Ice Goddess's bloodline would be destroyed. In fact, the Dark Ice Goddess's bloodline was in a life and death situation. At first, he thought that Yang Hongwu and the other two were enemies of the Dark Ice Goddess from the Demon region. They were here to deal with him. That was why he did not have a good impression of Yang Hongwu and the other two. However, at this time, he had no other choice. There was no other way. He could only fight. He could only resign himself to fate. Brother Yang, ignore him. This person is too despicable, Pang Li said. Yeah, why should we help him? Pang Lijuan said. He was so arrogant just now. And now he's begging for help? Zhang Liqiang resisted the Dark Ice Marten's attack with all his might. Hearing the two girls' words, he was very embarrassed. He even wanted to find a hole to hide in. However, for the Dark Ice Goddess, he had to get the inner core of the Dark Ice Marten. Bam! At this time, the Dark Ice Marten's claw collided with Zhang Liqiang's fist. Zhang Liqiang was sent flying, and so was the Dark Ice Marten. Both sides were injured. In the distance, the Dark Ice Marten could not move. It returned to its original shape like a kitten. Zhang Liqiang's cosmic form also disappeared. At this moment, Zhang Liqiang spat out blood. He forced himself up and walked towards the Dark Ice Marten step by step. The dark ice marten had burned its inner core. At this moment, it could not fight anymore. Cough, cough. Zhang Liqiang kept coughing out blood. He could only move 100 feet slowly. Yang Hongwu did not move either. Zhang Liqiang was seriously injured and on the verge of death. He was only holding on with his willpower. Chapter 1676. Zhang Liqiang knew that he was going to die, so he wasn't worried. He took Yang Hongwu's elixir and swallowed it. After consuming this pill, Zhang Liqiang's originally serious injuries were actually suppressed. This caused Zhang Liqiang to be incomparably shocked. He knew his injuries very well. With his current situation, this elixir could easily suppress his injuries and save his life. One could imagine how precious this elixir was. Such an elixir was definitely a life-saving elixir. It was a life-saving trump card in any force. However, the young man in front of him didn't care at all and gave him such a life-saving elixir. It could be said that he and the young man in front of him were enemies. Even if they weren't enemies, no one would give such a precious elixir to a person. A stranger. He thought a possibility. There is only one kind of person who didn't care about a supreme, life-saving elixir. That was an alchemist. Could it be that this young genius was actually an alchemist? Even if he wasn't an alchemist, there was a powerful alchemist behind him. Only this possibility would make him not care about such a precious elixir and give it to a stranger so casually. Thank you, young master. Zhang Liqiang realized that the man and the two women in front of him had an extraordinary background. He quickly thanked them. No matter what, the three people in front of him had saved his life. Zhang Liqiang was the kind of person who would repay kindness. However, if they wanted the dark ice marten's inner core, he wouldn't give it up. That was because he couldn't give it away no matter what, because the inner core of the profound ice mink was too important to him. No, it should be said that it was extremely important to the profound ice goddess. As long as they didn't want the dark ice marten's inner core, he would agree to anything. All right, you're called Zhang Liqiang, right? Yang Hongwu looked at him and said, "You're from the Dark Ice Palace?" "Yes." Zhang Liqiang nodded. "The inner core of the dark ice mink seems to be very important to you. However, it shouldn't be of much use to you. Your cultivation method and your constitution don't need the inner core of the dark ice mink. You want me to give the inner core of the dark ice mink to the goddess of black ice. In that case, the goddess of black ice should be using the inner core to cultivate or heal." Yang Hongwu looked at Zhang Liqiang and said, "If it's used for cultivation, the mystic ice goddess can come here herself instead of letting you look for it. Therefore, I guess that the mystic ice goddess used the inner core of this mystic ice marten. I think it's more likely to be used for healing." As soon as Yang Hongwu's voice fell, Zhang Liqiang suddenly widened his eyes. The young man in front of him was too terrifying. He was able to guess everything based on what he had just said. The young man's intelligence was too shocking. He was simply a monster. Unparalleled intellect and incomparably powerful. Just where did this young man come from? What kind of force could cultivate such a terrifying monster? This young man had the aura of dragons and the aura of dragons. Could it be that this young man was a member of the royal dragon clan? Dragons have been a powerful race since ancient times. In the divine realm, only the dragons were the most terrifying and powerful geniuses. They had once swept across the entire divine realm and became the lords of the 13 divine realms. However, due to some special reasons, the 13 divine realms were no longer under the control of the dragons. The forces of the divine realm were once again divided into 13 divine realms. Although the dragons were powerful, there were too few dragons. In the lords of the divine realm, the race with the most experts was still the human clan. Therefore, although the dragons were powerful, they couldn't become the true lords of the divine realm. If the young man in front of him was a genius of the dragons, then it wouldn't be surprising. Currently, the only dragons in the 13 divine realms were the Taitsong dragons and the void dragons. Among them, the clan leader of the Taitsong dragons was in the Black Ice Divine Palace. If this young man was really a Taitsong dragon, then how could the clan leader not be by his side to protect him? Moreover, the most outstanding alchemist among the Taitsong dragons was the Great Elder. However, although the Great Elder of the Taitsong dragons was a powerful alchemist, he couldn't easily refine such a life-saving pill, let alone give it to a stranger. Therefore, the young man in front of him shouldn't be a tight song dragon. If he wasn't a tight song dragon, then he could only be a void dragon. The void dragons had disappeared a long time ago. It was rumored that the void dragons had opened up a void dragon realm and entered a higher level of the universe. Of course, this was just a rumor. No one knew whether it was true or not. However, one thing was certain. The void dragons were much more powerful than the tight song dragons. It was rumored that the tight song dragons were just a branch of the void dragons led by a genius. Strictly speaking, the tight song dragons were just a branch of the void dragons. However, these were just rumors. No one knew whether they were true or not. Perhaps only the old antiques of the tight song dragons knew the truth. Don't worry, this black ice marten's Niden is no big deal to me. Yang Hongwu looked at Zhang Liqiang nervously and said calmly, I can tell you the truth. I don't mean any harm to you or the Black Ice Divine Realm. I came to the Black Ice Divine Realm this time. I only have two objectives. The first is to find someone, and the second is to investigate the situation of the Demon Domain. I want to know about the Demon Domain. As long as young master doesn't want the Black Ice Minx core, I can promise you anything. Zhang Liqiang heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. Then, he looked at Yang Hongwu and said, as long as you can help me give the Niden of the Black Ice Marten to the Black Ice Goddess, I could do anything for you. I'm willing to be an ox or a horse, a slave or a maid. You don't have to do anything for me. Yang Hongwu said, I've said that I'm only here to find out some information. Moreover, you might not be able to save the Black Ice Goddess with the Niden of the Black Ice Marten. Perhaps I can help with her injuries. Chapter 1677. Are you an alchemist? Hearing Yang Hongwu's words, Zhang Liqiang's eyes lit up as he looked at Yang Hongwu. There is only one person who could help Goddess Xianbing refine the Xianbing Divine Pill, and that was the Great Elder of the Tight Song Dragons. However, the Great Elder of the Tight Song Dragons did not have full confidence that he could refine it successfully. The young man in front of him could easily take out a pill that could save his life. It could be seen that this young man was not simple. It would be great if he could refine the Xianbing Divine Pill. Yang Hongwu nodded and said, Yes, I am an alchemist. I think the pill that you got as Xianbing Divine Pill needs should be the Xianbing Divine Pill. After all, only the Xianbing Divine Pill needs the inner core of the Xianbing Marten. You can refine it? Zhang Liqiang was overjoyed. Yes. Yang Hongwu nodded and said, But, Brother Yang, why should I refine it for you? Pang Liren did not have a good impression of Zhang Liqiang. Therefore, the two ladies did not have a good expression on their faces. Not killing him just now was already a blessing to him. Now, he wanted Brother Yang to refine it for him. This was simply a dream. Yes, Brother Yang, ignore him. Especially when Pang Lijuan heard that the other party was a woman, she immediately felt a sense of crisis. No woman would want the person she liked to have any relationship with other women. Zhang Liqiang smiled bitterly when he heard the two ladies. He knew that the two ladies did not have a good impression of him. Suddenly, his heart sank to the bottom. If the two ladies did not agree, the young man in front of him would not agree. After all, the two ladies should have a high position in his heart. I am curious. What is the name of Goddess Xianbing Divine Pill? Yang Hongwu was also helpless. This time, he came to the Xianbing Divine Realm, or rather, entered the Divine Realm, in fact, to look for the ladies. This Goddess Xianbing Divine Pill might be one of the ladies. This possibility was very high. Among the ladies, any one of them was a talented lady. If they were in the Divine Realm, they would definitely stand out. Therefore, this Xianbing goddess was probably one of the girls. As for who she was, Yang Hongwu didn't know. After all, Yang Hongwu was currently unable to sense him. The connection between him and the girls seemed to be sealed by an invisible force. This force made Yang Hongwu very angry. Yang Hongwu even suspected that this was Zitian's doing. However, the possibility was not high. If Zitian had such a powerful strength, he could easily crush Yang Hongwu. There was no need for him to do this. He could have captured the girls first, and then let Yang Hongwu sense their location. using this as a threat to deal with him. Therefore, the person who blocked his connection with the girls shouldn't be Zetian, but another powerful existence. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu was extremely depressed and distressed. Damn it, one Zetian was already difficult for him to deal with. Now, there was an unknown opponent. This made Yang Hongwu very depressed. One Zetian was still okay. In any case, he knew that the enemy was on the surface. However, he didn't even know who the other person was, what he looked like, and how powerful he was. This made Yang Hongwu very depressed and worried. However, judging from the fact that the other party blocked his connection with the girls, the other party's strength was undoubtedly very terrifying and powerful. At least, the other party's strength was not weaker than Zetian's at all. In fact, he might even be stronger. However, Yang Hongwu was very puzzled. Why was the other party targeting him? It seemed that other than Zetian, there shouldn't be any powerful and terrifying opponents. Could it be the leader of the burial cult? This was also very unlikely. If it wasn't the leader of the burial cult, could it be the demon king, the evil monarch? Yang Hongwu shook his head. This possibility was also not big. Now, the most depressed thing in Yang Hongwu's heart was that he didn't know who the enemy behind him was. And where did he come from? The other party seemed to be playing a game of cat and mouse. This made Yang Hongwu very sullen, but there was nothing he could do. Perhaps the other party's strength was not as powerful as he imagined. If the other party was really powerful to the point where he couldn't compete with him, wouldn't it be easy for him to deal with him? Why did he have to go through so much trouble? Of course, there was also a possibility that the other party didn't take him seriously and was just teasing him. Thinking of this, Yang Hongwu shook off the thoughts in his heart. For Yang Hongwu, the most important thing now was to improve his cultivation and his own strength. Only when he was strong enough could he truly control his own destiny and control his own future. The goddess is the goddess, Zhang Liqiang said. The original name and appearance of each goddess Xianbing is only known by the previous goddess Xianbing and herself. It is impossible for others to know the true appearance and information of the goddess Xianbing. Nonsense! How is that possible? Pang Li said. Could it be that they are shameful? That's right. Pang Li Juan also nodded and said, You should be the confidant of the goddess Xianbing. Don't tell me you still don't know the name of the goddess Xianbing? What does she look like? Zhang Liqiang smiled bitterly and shook his head. Even the palace master doesn't know the appearance and name of the goddess Xianbing. I'm just a guard of the goddess Xianbing. How could I know the appearance of the goddess Xianbing? Although I don't know the true appearance of the goddess Xianbing, one thing is certain. The appearance of the goddess Xianbing must be unparalleled in the world. No one can compare to her. When Zhang Liqiang said this, his eyes flashed with infatuation. His appearance made Pang Liren and Pang Li Juan even more jealous. Any woman, especially a beautiful woman, didn't like others to talk about the beauty of others in front of them, especially that kind of woman who was especially beautiful. Praising the beauty of another woman in front of a woman, no matter how open-minded that woman was, would make her feel uncomfortable, especially in front of the person they liked. This would make them even angrier. At this moment, Pang Liren and Pang Li Juan were like this. This Zhang Liqiang, in front of them, in front of Yang Hongwu, actually said how beautiful the goddess Xianbing was. How could the two women tolerate this? Humph, what unparalleled appearance. The way I see it, she's incomparably ugly, the ugliest person in the world. If she wasn't so ugly, how could she not dare to reveal her true appearance to others? How could she not dare to let others see her true appearance? Chapter 1678. Yang Hongwu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Zhang Liqiang was really too much. How could he praise goddess Xianbing's beauty in front of the two ladies? Wasn't he looking for trouble? At this time, Zhang Liqiang also realized that he had said the wrong thing and immediately stopped talking. Although he was very angry, he also knew that at this time, if he confronted the two women again, Yang Hongwu would most likely not agree to him. If that happened, he would be in big trouble. For the sake of goddess Xianbing's injury, it was better for him to keep silent. Seeing that Zhang Liqiang had stopped talking, the two ladies were a little proud. Yang Hongwu, shook his head secretly. Women were all the same. They couldn't bear to see others praise other women's beauty in front of them. Zhang Liqiang was also tactful. He did not say anything more and stopped arguing. Otherwise, if he continued arguing, the two women would probably turn the sky upside down. How far is it from here to Ice City? Yang Hongwu asked. Master, it's a long way from here to Ice City. If we take the Snow Mountain Eagle, it'll only take 1 day, Zhang Liqiang said. Yang Hongwu frowned. It would take 1 day to take the Snow Mountain Eagle. Obviously, it was not a short distance. Yang Hongwu didn't want to waste a day. However, he couldn't expose the void transmission secret skill, so he could only use the formation. Is there no other way? For example, formation transmission? Yang Hongwu asked. Zhang Liqiang shook his head and said, there was a formation transmission. However, because of the invasion of the demon region, the entire Ice City was confined by a special force. Therefore, it's impossible to use the formation transmission. The space of the entire Ice City has been sealed. It's impossible to use the formation transmission. When Yang Hongwu heard this, he was extremely shocked. The entire profound Ice City was not a small space, but it was actually completely sealed off. Such a method was truly shocking. It was definitely not something that ordinary people could do. It was extremely difficult for a divine Emperor Realm expert to do it. Moreover, it required a lot of people. With Yang Hongwu's current cultivation, it was impossible for him to do it. Since Zhang Liqiang could do it, it meant that he was very powerful. He was not to be trifled with. However, if he didn't go now, that wasn't very likely. Now that he had entered the deity realm, he definitely had to go to profound Ice City. Originally, Yang Hongwu had planned to go to the Common People's God Realm, first to the Common People's God Palace. But now he had to go to the Xianbing God Realm, first to check out the situation and see if the so-called Demon Realm Master was Zetian. If he was a Zetian, then did he catch his woman? This was something that Yang Hongwu had to figure out. If it was not the Zetian, then it would be fine. If it was the Zetian, then it would be troublesome. The Zetian hated him very much. They were his sworn enemies. They were destined enemies. Whether it was Zetian or himself, both of them wanted to kill each other. Only one of them could survive. There was no other possibility. Snow Mountain Eagle? Brother Yang, let's ride the Snow Mountain Eagle. We haven't ridden one before. Pang Liren was very happy. She was very excited when she heard that they could ride the Snow Mountain Eagle. Yang Hongwu was speechless. The Snow Mountain Eagle was not a particularly cool mount. He had ridden phoenixes and divine dragons. A mere Snow Mountain Eagle was nothing. If it was some ancient divine beast or primordial ferocious beast, Yang Hongwu would be a little interested. The Snow Mountain Eagle was just an ordinary flying exotic beast. It was not a big deal at all. The name Snow Mountain Eagle sounded good, but its strength was very ordinary. The most powerful Snow Mountain Eagle was only at the Great Emperor Realm. Therefore, Yang Hongwu was not interested in flying exotic beasts like the Snow Mountain Eagle. We can't ride the Snow Mountain Eagle now. My Snow Mountain Eagle was killed by a mountain eagle on the way here. Zhang Liqiang was a little embarrassed. Yang Hongwu was a little interested in the mountain eagle. The bloodline of the mountain eagle was much higher than that of the Snow Mountain Eagle. It was said that the mountain eagle had the bloodline of the ancient Dapeng Golden Eagle. The ancient Dapeng Golden Eagle was very powerful. Of course, it was not the ancient Dapeng Golden Eagle. The real ancient Dapeng Golden Eagle was very ferocious. It was at the same level as those terrifying ancient divine dragons. For example, the Taitsong Divine Dragon was at the same level as the ancient Dapeng Golden Eagle. The mountain eagle was at its strongest, comparable to a peak divine emperor expert. If he could tame a mountain eagle, it would be a great reward. If there is no Snow Mountain Eagle, what are you talking about? Pang Liren stared and said, Are you making fun of us? Pang Liren was very dissatisfied with Zhang Liqiang's behavior. It was not easy to get a ride on the Snow Mountain Eagle, but this guy said there was no Snow Mountain Eagle. This was unforgivable. At least, it was so for Pang Liren. Why don't we ride on the Mountain Eagle? Yang Hongwu said, Zhang Liqiang, where's the Mountain Eagle now? When Zhang Liqiang heard this, his eyes widened. He looked at Yang Hongwu and said, Young master, this? Young master, are you saying that we're going to catch those mountain eagles? Of course, without the mountain eagle, we don't know how long it will take to get to Ice City. Yang Hongwu looked at him and said, Do you want us to walk to Ice City? Well, young master, of course I don't mean that. It's just that the mountain eagle is very strong. I'm afraid it's already at the divine emperor realm. I don't doubt your strength. However, the mountain eagle is a flying exotic beast, and it's at the divine emperor realm. How terrifying. Back then, if I didn't have a teleportation talisman in my hand, I probably would have been devoured by that mountain eagle. Furthermore, there shouldn't be just one mountain eagle. There should be a pair, said Zhang Liqiang. A pair of mountain eagles. Yang Hongwu's eyes lit up when he heard this. It would be great if there was a pair of mountain eagles. If he could subdue a pair of mountain eagles at the divine emperor realm, his strength would be improved by more than one level. At least, if there was a pair of mountain eagles, one could be used as a flying mount, and the other could help him protect Pang Liren and Lin Mingya. Although the two girls could perform a joint attack and were very powerful, their cultivation was still too weak. They were far from enough to fight against a divine emperor realm expert. Chapter 1679. One should know that the mountain eagles were terrifying. It was impossible for a real divine emperor to subdue a mountain eagle, let alone a young man who had not even reached the divine emperor realm. It was impossible for him to subdue a mountain eagle, not to mention a pair of mountain eagles. How could he subdue a mountain eagle? Wasn't that mountain eagle just asking for trouble? At that time, not only would he fail to tame the mountain eagle, but his life would also be in danger. Young master, this mountain eagle is very powerful. Unless there are more than 3 divine emperor realm warriors, it's impossible to subdue this mountain eagle. Zhang Liqiang tried his best to stop Yang Hongwu. After all, he did not want to die. He had not sent the inner elixir of the Black Ice Marten back to the Black Ice Palace. What are you worried about? When Yang Hongwu heard Zhang Liqiang's words, he naturally knew what this fellow was thinking. I'm not worried. Besides, since I dare to do this, I naturally have the confidence to subdue Zhuoshandiao. If I didn't have full confidence, I wouldn't have done it. Humph, you dare to doubt Brother Yang? Pang Liren was dissatisfied. Pang Lijuan, who was standing at the side, also stared at him with wide eyes. It was as if his doubting Yang Hongwu's strength was a heinous crime. Zhang Liqiang smiled bitterly. He could not afford to provoke him. He had to lower his head. Yang Hongwu looked at him and said, If you are afraid of death, just tell me where it is. As for your current situation, it is impossible for you to go back to the Black Ice City alone unless you want to die. Of course, that's not what I meant. Since young master is confident, that would be great. Zhang Liqiang forced a smile and said, I am lucky to be alive now because of master's elixir. Since master wants to tame the mountain eagle, I have to go. In that case, you can lead the way. You should be able to walk now, right? Yang Hongwu said, I'm much better now. I can walk. Zhang Liqiang nodded. Although he had not recovered from his serious injuries, he had not reached the point where he could not walk. Zhang Liqiang walked in front, followed by Yang Hongwu and the 2 women. Big brother Yang, this speed is too slow, Pang Li said. Why don't we catch an exotic beast and carry him? Yang Hongwu nodded. This was not a bad idea. Looking up, Yang Hongwu saw a steel armor pig. This steel armor pig was a low-tier exotic beast. It wasn't strong, but its body was huge. In this wilderness, it could barely be used as food and a mount. Come here. Yang Hongwu reached out and grabbed the armored pig. Then, he used the secret method of taming beasts and subdued the armored pig in an instant. All right, your speed is too slow. This armored pig will be your mount, Yang Hongwu said to Zhang Liqiang. Zhang Liqiang did not know whether to laugh or cry. He was the captain of the guards under Goddess Xianbing, but he had been reduced to riding an armored pig. It would be too embarrassing if news of this spread. But now, there was indeed no better choice. In this world of ice and snow, the armored pig was indeed not bad. If he was extremely hungry, he could use it as food. All right, let's go. With a wave of his hand, Yang Hongwu placed Zhang Liqiang on the back of the armored pig. As for Yang Hongwu himself, with a thought, a talisman turned into a talisman beast. This talisman beast was a mighty piebald tiger. It looked majestic and was much more handsome and mighty than the armored pig. Zhang Liqiang's eyes widened. This method, turning a talisman into a beast, this method was too amazing. Was this the legendary talisman beast? The more he thought about it, the more he couldn't understand the young man in front of him. The young man had many tricks up his sleeves. He was an alchemist and had a powerful talisman. Moreover, even though this armored pig wasn't strong and had a low level, it wouldn't be easy for even a beast tamer to tame it. Look at Yang Hongwu. He grabbed the armored pig and struck it with some kind of incantation, causing it to become extremely obedient, as if it had gained sentience. One should know that the armored pig was a very stupid exotic beast. The possibility of it gaining intelligence was too small. Could it be that this young man in front of him was a powerful beast tamer? Thinking of this, Zhang Liqiang could not help but recall Yang Hongwu's words about subduing Zhuoshandiao. He had enough confidence. The possibility of this young man in front of him being a beast tamer was very high. Moreover, he should have a powerful beast tamer treasure in his hands. If not, how could he dare to boast? This young man was really incredible. Who knew how terrifying the power behind him was? If this young man was a void dragon, the possibility was even higher. Void dragons were born with powerful dragon aura. They had a great pressure on any exotic beast. Bloodline suppression. Exotic beasts were different from human cultivators. They had an innate fear of dragons. This came from their bloodline. The pressure from the depths. It was rumored that the realm of the gods was a space created by a mighty dragon. As a result, all the living beings in this world respected the dragon clan. This was also the reason why the dragon clan was so powerful and possessed such shocking talent. Because this world was created by a dragon expert, the realm of the gods was originally revered by dragons. As for whether this was true or not, no one knew. It was just a rumor. However, there was one thing that was indisputable. Dragons were really powerful. In the entire realm of the gods, the most powerful beings that had ever appeared were dragons. Big Brother Yang, is this the legendary talisman beast? Big Brother Yang, can you transform into a flying talisman beast? Like a phoenix or something? Pang Liren looked at the talisman beast that Yang Hongwu had transformed into and was pleasantly surprised. Yang Hongwu shook his head and said, "Ordinary talisman beasts are no problem. As for phoenixes, I can't." "Why not?" "Big Brother Yang, you're so powerful." Pang Liren said, "I want to ride a phoenix." Cough, cough. To create this kind of talisman seal, you need the spiritual blood of an exotic beast. I don't have the spiritual blood of a phoenix. Of course, I can't create a phoenix talisman beast. Yang Hongwu said, although he was already a powerful talisman master, no matter how powerful a talisman master was, it was impossible to create a talisman beast out of thin air. Pang Liren was very disappointed when she heard this. "I see that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.